Hello, everybody, and welcome to Launchpad number 2, the path to qualify for NASL. My name is Borg, and I am joined by the producer himself, Saya. How you doing, Saya? Wait, you're muted.
I just realized
I'm
I'm
sorry.
muted
I
on
should have
stream.
told you.
Okay,
I
that's
should
my
have told you.
bad. There we go.
Hey, what if we just tricked the audience and just mouthed it the whole time?
Yeah, well, what if? But yeah, it'll be interesting because I genuinely don't know which 6 teams will make it. There are some likelier candidates, like the certain roster
Yeah.
of Kachao, but even that's not a certainty.
Yeah, I mean, I think, at least compared to Launchpad 1, I think in Launchpad 1 there's a lot more teams where it was like, oh yeah, okay, this should happen, this should be, there are some kind of shakeups here and there, but nothing too crazy overall. But this one, besides maybe like 2, maybe 3 teams that I'm looking at here, there shouldn't really, I really can't tell. I can't really tell who will be making it into liftoff, and if they do get into liftoff, will they be able to do much from there? It all depends on how much better they get and how well they're able to make use of the new map formats and the ban system and everything. So I'm personally excited to kind of get into this and not actually have to stress about playing in a launch pad, right? Which is just a lot worse. These best of ones can be the death of you. But yeah, for the first game, we're actually going to be, I believe it's Chikara Icebreakers and Thanky's Appa V2. I think that's the team name, right?
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting team because Chikara Icebreakers are a team named after, of course, Chikara Ice. But on the other side, I think he's Appa V2. This is basically a Chikara team with Naga Strike. These are all players that are somewhat... This is just such a team kill, I feel like. There's even Izanagi and Ostini on the bench of Chikara Icebreakers. Definitely players that have interacted with each other a ton. I even saw in the Start GG chat, one of them was just reminding Flop that they asked him for coaching. So yeah, this is gonna be a very interesting match. I will definitely have to favor Chikara Icebreakers. Who wouldn't? But yeah, it definitely could go either way.
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably favor Chikara Icebreakers as well. Definitely more names that I recognize and names that I've played with more so, right? And so I kind of have to definitely expect them to win here. But we're getting into the game now. Like I said, anything can happen. We are on Atlas Lab for this game here. And, I mean, as you know, with Atlas Lab, some crazy things can happen, especially with certain damage compositions. And Chikara Icebreakers has the Yoshi who loves that Zentaro, so I'm definitely expecting to see some interesting things here this game. But as we get into draft, we'll have to see what actually happens. Gonna be a Julie ban hovered by Chikara Icebreakers, and then we'll have to see what this other ban on the side of Thanky's Appa V2. It will be that Zentaro ban. So 2 brawlers taken off the field here. You're gonna have to see Yoshi get on. Oh, the Asher. Okay, so I was actually curious what Yoshi would be picking here. I've been watching too much of the weeklies or any tournaments like that lately. I've been pretty busy, so definitely curious to see what he picks there. Locks in the Asher into the Atlas, and I'm assuming this will just be a Kai forward. It is very strong right now, and Flop is very comfortable with it. So definitely a very strong core control comp from them.
Yeah, and on the other side though, it's a comp that is quite suited to the Atlas's
comp.
lab. They are going now double healing with Kazan, and this damage might just be enough. The damage differential in the favor of Thanky's Appa V2 if they can really just pilot this comp to perfection. But it's a big question. Even though now has been absolutely mega buffed, it's still a question mark.
Wait, so they ran I call it the kitten comp. It's Kazan's kittens this time, right? It's the double healing. But they ran it with a stagger swagger start. I guess because of that, they took the Spark of Focus, which it is a stagger swagger Spark of Focus start. So definitely interesting there. And on the other side of Chikara Icebreakers, there's going to be 2 stagger swaggers, with Yoshi being the only one running that Spark. So definitely some interesting pickups here to start off, while hitting level 2 very early on, applying so much pressure over to the side of Thanky's Appa V2. And the Yoshi just puts it in pretty early on, 30 seconds into that first point.
Yeah, really fast goal here for the first one, as My bad. Stream's gonna lag for a little bit as I try to get my FPS issues fixed. And apparently, by killing my browser, the FPS went from 40 to 120, so everything's all good.
There you go.
But
there you go.
right now, I think it's really up to Vongula, right? Vongula has to be this presence in the midfield, and now is not exactly the most consistent midfield character. As whoa, Z Yoshi looking like a Zentaro out here, just KOs the goalie.
Yeah, KOing that goalie early on, but now I think actually is a much better goalie than a midfielder, so definitely going to be pretty comfortable, I think, in that position there. Great abilities, especially with all the buffs he's been getting recently. Saves it, allows Naga Strike to come back online, but the pressure from this Kai midfield, right, it just keeps coming on, and then if it gets to that Asher 1, 2, 3 times, I mean, shouldn't even need that many. They should just be getting this barrier. But great little, I mean, play here from the side of Thanky's Appa V2. I need to figure out like a smaller name to call that because I'm not saying that every time. But either way, I mean, they're able to get one barrier back. It is the same side top barriers on both sides here, trying to be taken by either side here. And Vongula of the Rain. Should be Vongula of the Brain is how I'm reading it right now. I don't really know exactly why I'm seeing it like that, but Yoshi and Flop managing to claw themselves back here, and then it looks like it's going to go in here. Great flip here from Naga Strike. Actually waits it out all the way and saves that core there. Vongula down to Wee. Great pass down to that bottom corner, and then puts it in past that Atlas Expanse. Great little passing play there from the side of Thankies.
Really, really well done to make that happen. And I gotta say, even though it was a Thankies goal, I was so impressed by Vladilena that last point. Held it down against the flips, against everything until the very end where the passing play marked the goal for the side of Thankies. But until then, Vladilena performed incredibly well, and maybe, as expected, has not been as visible in tournaments recently, but was performing really, really well with Chikara, Demon's Academy, Chikara Green, etc. in the past. But as I say that, a great pass to Wee once again. Another barrier taken, another open goal against this Atlas. And Yoshi has to burn flip in the midfield. Not what you want to see.
Yeah, having to burn that flip, definitely not what you want as an Asher at the midfield line, basically. Usually you want to use that in the face of the enemy goalie. Flop almost going down here. The Kazan looking so incredibly strong right now, even with 0 damage. Awakenings, Vladilena now forced to use the flip off a great strike from Wee. The Kazan just looking so strong here again. Then Atlas and the now keeping everybody up. There's just no KOing this team. And with an Asher and a Kai, you're not really expecting too many KOs in the first place. Yoshi looking very, very low right now, but gets that last barrier. Actually, Flop gets the credit for that one. And Yoshi has to be careful here, but it doesn't even matter because Kazan, with that improved strike range, puts it in that top corner. Definitely something that you have to look out for. I really enjoy picking Kazan into picks like the Atlas, just in the Dubu and things like that, because of that fast strike on the closed primary. Just lets you, I mean, just use your strike to hit it past them. You don't even need abilities.
Yeah, just the strike speeds up the core so much. It's quite ridiculous sometimes, as once again, it just seems like it's so in the favor of Thanky's Appa in the midfield. For some reason, Vongula and we are doing so well in these passing plays, getting the barriers over and over and over. Vladilena forced to defend in the open goal. Atlas's one weakness, and if this happens in the coming sets, Thanky's might just have the upset.
Yeah, I mean, they could get the upset here. I mean, I would say a decently big one, at least in my eyes. I'm not too sure totally, but hey, not over yet, as Yoshi getting some good chances here. Flop getting it to the Asher over and over again, and a primary is going to be blocking that core flip from Naga Strike. And a great, I mean, just well-timed primary there. Naga Strike just not patient enough to get past that Asher there, and it's 2-2 in this first set.
2 as this kickoff, good for Yoshi. Manages to get the barrier past Naga Strike. And maybe they can change their fate here. Flop elusives to open primary. Yoshi pushes forward, gets the strike war win, but a primary is available for the Atlas, and barriers down on the other side as well. Vladilena almost at flip, but Wee is fully at flip, does not choose to use it. Expanse burned. These cooldowns slowly being taken away from Vladilena as Wee tries once more. Does not use a flip there either. The Vlad flip is the one obstacle for the side of Thankies, and it will finally be burned yet again. And wait a second, Naga Naga was all the way back, could not defend the barrier, but Flop goes down. This passing play has to be huge for the side of Thankies.
Yeah, they have the opportunity here. They get the barrier. Yoshi has the core flip here, so things should be looking safe. Uses it, invests it, gets it forward for now, but almost gets KO'd now by the Kazan. The Asher looking incredibly low here, but should be safe for now as long as they don't overstep their bounds a little bit too much here. The Atlasal on the side of Thankies going to be put out, keeping both players safe. The Kazan and the Now looking quite healthy in general, though the flip actually coming out from Kazan going to amount to not much there. Flop and Yoshi looking really low in the middle. The gravity well is going to be taking out Yoshi, and the core flip again from Naga Strike, actually putting it in that top corner. Vladilena was a little bit too far down there.
And despite our predictions, Thankies taking the first set, and unfortunately Replicator and Ponderer falling on the same rotation. I'm sure the Atlas would have loved either of those by themselves, but still a lot of speed on the table. We'll take the Ponderer regardless.
Ooh.
Says, I don't care about that Replicator, maybe looking for a dancer later on, and there's just a lot of power for everyone, a lot of speed, size available, perfect form for the Kazan. Everyone just getting a lot stronger as the orbs will be traded away by the goalies.
Yeah, I think, honestly, a pretty good draft for both sides, I think. You know, with both orbs being taken by either Atlas, it allows them to kind of go into that orb of speed, right? That orb dancer build later on, possibly. I would say slightly favored for Vladilena if they have the Replicator for getting the Spark of... excuse me, not the Spark, the orb dancer. I'm going to have to get used to that again with the orbs back in rotation. But already early on, you know, one going down on either side. One thing that was definitely very notable in that draft is the Kai getting prime time here, possibly going to allow Flop to play a little bit more aggressive, run in a bit better with those barrages. But now both barriers on either side are down. Naga Strike using so many abilities. Gotta be careful. Needs some relief from their midfield and forward pressure here. Okay, they should have a couple abilities back up here. Vladilena should be pretty chilling as well. It just depends on which team can make that big play first. Flop going to be really, really low, actually going down here, but it doesn't even matter because Vladilena with that Celestial Expanse, and a great passing play there from Flop to Yoshi. Yoshi down to Flop. Flop realizing, you know, I don't have that barrage up, I don't have that speed up, there's no chance I'm scoring down here. Gets it right back up to Yoshi, who finds that top corner right past Naga Strike.
Yeah, that doesn't greed for any individual goal. Finds Yoshi wide open, and now Yoshi again wide open, getting the bottom barrier past Vongola and Naga Strike. And this is the performance we need to see from this Asher in this game. But once again, it gets a little stuck in the midfield. Vongola and Wee just running up and striking the core. Have flips available. Flop gets it out of the situation, and Naga Strike loses the barrier. Oh no, that is not what you want to see if you're a fan of the Thankies here, but that's what you want to see. Wee winning the Strike War interaction against Vladilena with the flips. Yoshi, though, trying to make a play, burning the flip, getting the primary, but it's not enough to block it out. It's Wee topside, no hesitation from the dash, an amazing core flip.
Yeah, great core flip there. Dash onto that core flip, putting it right into that top corner. Vladilena, like I was saying earlier, these melee goalies just not having the tools to be getting those vertical shots as easily as, say, a Kai or maybe an Aimi or something along the lines of that. But, you know, it's only 1-1. Nothing too crazy yet. And actually a KO onto Flop. The Stagger Swagger's not even going to matter there. Just gets straight up knocked off the edge there by the Kazan. And Vladilena loses that second barrier off the power play. And it's not even over yet here. Great pull into the strike. Vladilena ankles broken onto that bottom corner. Not much you can do there when that Kazan is cooking that hard.
Yeah, we just had too many options available. And the only cooldown Vladilena had was that strike shot. So very, very difficult for the Atlas to save it there. But Yoshi once again pushing forward, getting one barrier early, not dying to the open primary, not even using an elusive. We'll use it now. But I think the big question mark in this game is Flop, right? We haven't seen the usual Flop Kai performance. We haven't seen Flop absolutely dominating this midfield running up. And it just means that Yoshi, it's so easy to target the giant Asher who has to sit there waiting.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, right, that Asher did not take Stagger Swagger, instead took a Spark, but that might not even matter now as Naga Strike goes down, and now it is a power play for Chikara Icebreakers, and Flop puts it in with the barrage. Great interference there from Yoshi, stunning Vongol of the right there. And, yeah, I mean, they come back now at that 2-2. Naga Strike, I believe that was a Giga Blast that took them out.
Yeah, great dunk by Flop, great follow-up barrage by Flop. Maybe he heard me saying something about him not performing. He is just going in. Wait a second, I think he has the stream open. And also that KO super important for the long-term of this game too, because that means Naga Strike's orb stacks are gone, and those take a while to build up and carry over between sets.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge here. The orb stacks meaning a lot, and Vladilena feeling even better now that they got the replicator instead. So if they can win this, Chikara Icebreakers can take the set, and that Orb Dancer comes back up. Vladilena, great save, by the way, off the core flip from Kazan here. Great plays from both sides as Flop trying his best to actually keep it forward to Yoshi, but the more it gets to Yoshi, the more damage Yoshi takes, but it's not going to matter that much as they get the second barrier, and Yoshi trying to put it in. Naga Strike, great strike. Wii and Vongola trying to keep it forward for now. A great flip from Vladilena, but gets denied from Wii. Hits it right back into him, and that is 2-0 in sets to Thanky's Appa V2.
Oh, and I think just a little tiny bit of panic coming out from Vladilena kind of sends it into the Kazan, and if it's into the Kazan, well, that's what you don't want to see here as Twin Drive. A great take for Kazan to deny away, but wait, Orb Dancer or Twin Drive? We'll choose to deny the orbs instead.
Yeah, denies that orb. Definitely not a bad idea here. Personally, I mean, I think has that Spark of Focus. I really do think that Spark of Strength might have been a decent idea there, as, you know, the Atlas still gets Twin Drive anyway and does not have that replicator and only has 2 stacks currently. So actually, oh no, sorry, Vladilena has a replicator. Okay, I actually do like that play then. So my bad, was definitely not paying the most attention there, I admit. But off the gate immediately, I think Chikara Icebreakers definitely have a chip on their shoulder after that one, getting both barriers instantly. Flop lagging a little bit there, but I think is good for now. Expanse coming out, keeping Yoshi at bay for now. Flop and Yoshi trying to keep it forward for now. Just needs to prove that they do belong here. This is only a best of one, guys. Remember, if they lose this, they are immediately now in a little bit of trouble and have to win another game coming up here. Flop down to Yoshi. Vladilena still has 1 barrier to play with here, so you don't have to be too scared. But every time this Kazan gets the core, it feels just like almost hell breaks loose. But Flop showing that when they get the core, it is just as good as the barrage. Place it right past Naga Strike.
I'll be real. That draft was like the second best case scenario for Chikara Icebreakers. It was so good for them. Flop picks up fight or flight. Vladilena gets Twin Drive anyway. Like, that is the only better scenario would be winning and Vlad getting Orb Dancer, but this is just amazing too.
Yeah, the 1-2 on Asher helps a lot, and the fight or flight is just, even with the nerfs, it doesn't matter. That training is still just so incredibly good, especially with the fact that the secondary reduction, or excuse me, secondary reset, not reduction even, which is hilariously, insanely broken to me. But regardless on Awakening balance here, both barriers will be down for now. The flip actually comes out from the Kazan and just puts it right past Flop, and Vladilena not in position to actually save that one. Just another kind of blitz of a point almost from, I mean, what felt like both sides. It felt like the defenders, the goalies from either side, just almost had no chance against the forwards there.
Yeah, and once again, it's Flop pushing forward, but I'd like to highlight Wii has had an amazing success rate on flips. Just so patient, waiting for the angles to clear up and not really missing, but here, Yoshi tested, Vongola manages to get the strike defense. And again, yeah, it just feels like the goalies are struggling a little bit here as the forwards just have a lot of control in this game.
Yeah, the forward is definitely popping off on, honestly, both sides right now. A little bit more on the side of Thanky's Appa V2 as we've seen so far. But it's not over yet as we've seen. It's 1-1 as the Yoshi gets both of the barriers here. Flop keeps getting it to him over and over again. Flop definitely warmed up now a little bit more. And Yoshi with a great dribble off into that top corner as well. Gets the goal, making it a 2-1 in this third set.
Well played by Yoshi, capitalizes on the pass from Flop, but it just takes a few too many attempts right now, I think, for Chikara Icebreakers to have a comfortable lead. But right now, Yoshi just shoves Naga Strike away, looking a bit like the old Asher here, looking like the dominant force, especially with the pass splitter, but unfortunately the pass splitter is a little bit nerfed, will not lock Naga Strike for 5 million seconds, so the top barrier still stays up.
Yeah, still stays up on the side of both sides. The flip coming out a little bit late, actually, losing that top barrier. Naga Strike not happy with that one, but gets that great strike to make up for it and save the goal for now. Expanse coming out as Yoshi and Flop both pretty low, but Naga Strike, or excuse me, Vladilena with a great Celestial, whatever that's called, the Atlas Ultimate, keeping them both alive. Wii trying to do some heroics, but it seems like Yoshi and Flop just cannot lose any of these midfield interactions, and then both the goalie goes down and the goal goes in 3-1. And keep in mind, Naga Strike now losing those Orb Ponderer stacks once again. I believe the most stacks I've seen from Naga Strike is like 4 or 5. Like, just not able to stack this training at all.
And now it gets a little bit scary. That specialized training definitely an option for this Kai, and I'd like to see it. Those Giga Blasts have been super useful. Just ops for the aerials instead. Loves looking at the speed here, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I personally would have preferred it on the Giga Blasts, I'll be real.
I think, given here that the Asher doesn't have too much to take here, given that Spark is most likely going to be going to Vongola anyway, which is a 3 Spark now, by the way. And for those who don't know, now might be a healer character, but it does not matter that much, in my opinion, because for some reason, with all the Giga buffs that she's been getting, this now character does way too much damage. And with 3 Sparks now, Spark of Strength, it's going to be a lot more damage than you would think. So definitely don't mind that, and Aerial's just being so incredibly good on Kai, especially now that Chrono has not been on the table yet. So having that chance of getting Aerial's Chrono is just so incredibly good. But regardless of the draft, we get into this point here. Okay, wow. Yoshi almost going down, but it doesn't even matter. Both of the gold bearers taken. The Asher does the Asher things, ladies and gentlemen. Who would have thought that barrage coming down clutch here? Flopped up, missing that strike though, so not able to keep it forward for now. We doing an amazing job right now, just interfering with the plans of Chikara Icebreakers. Great expanse for Vitalana, keeping it away, but just the chances now. Vongola just doing so well on this now. Corflip now coming out here, and a great pass splitter from Yoshi, able to keep it away for now. And we still somehow keep it forward, though. I feel like just the amount of damage actually coming through here is just too much to handle. But can Flop actually do this by himself? We have to see. No, will not. A great save there from Naga Strike after missing that flip, making it forward a little bit. But Flop still has that core flip and is still not able to clear it here. Flop is just so fast with this aerial speed right now. So all they can really get out of that power play is just a little bit of damage. But now they get another power play as Flop is down. And Yoshi and Vladilena now has the core flip, so not the scariest thing about investing it early on. Yoshi keeping their hands on the core for now, and they just stop another power play. I feel like Thinkies Up of V2 really have to work on their power plays here because they're getting so many of them, but just the conversion rates, maybe they just need to invest a flip or two. There's one. The pole not going to be going out here. Yoshi almost getting a goal, but a great stop from Naga Strike with the primary flop top, trying to keep it forward here. Yoshi puts it in on that bottom corner on a set, or on a point rather, that just felt like that was all Thinkies Up of V2, but it didn't even matter.
Yeah, unfortunately, they kind of held on to their flips a little too long. We still has theirs, could not capitalize on the 3 different power plays, if I remember correctly. And now, once again, momentum swing in the favor of Chikara Icebreakers, but as I say that, Wee's going in, the secondary Vongola in there as well. And yeah, I got to second you on that now damage. The secondary just does so much chip, but the primary, when it's fully formed, it just one-shots people now.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit crazy with all of those buffs, but we get into the set here. I think this is the first time this game, honestly, that I remember seeing where the opposite barriers are left up. It's been like the top barriers on both sides the whole time, I feel like, when there is that 1-to-1 barrier. Flip coming out from Naga Strike, gonna save it for now. Yoshi stepping back a little bit, waiting for those abilities to come back online, using the slick kicks up midfield. But finally a flip comes out, but it doesn't even matter as Flop actually takes it away. But that one doesn't even matter as a great timing, again, making up for it. Both barriers now down after the flip invested from Yoshi. There's just so many core flips this game, but it's gonna end without even one being used on the side of the Kazan. It doesn't even need it. That open umbrella strike into that bottom corner. Nothing special, just getting it right around Vladilena.
Yeah, I gotta really highlight Wee here. Has been performing so incredibly well in those scoring situations, in these open net situations. And the side of Chikara Icebreakers really needs to make something happen while their barriers are still up, when at least one barrier is still up, because when that Atlas is in an open net, Vladilena can't really do much against a Kazan who is scoring like that.
Yeah, this Kazan definitely impressing me so far. I'm definitely excited with this level of play so far. As wow, Yoshi's going down from that gravity well already. Vongola a little dangerous with those backward primaries here. I definitely do not recommend. That's one of the risks of running this now in the midfield. Not gonna be able to do too much with that power play here. Kind of a you know, what we've been seeing this whole set, really, just struggling on the power plays, but they do get triple flip again. I'd really love to see them invest a flip here. Great investment there, right as I say, getting that KO and the barrier perfect from Wii. The Kazan just doing so much here and gets the Strike War win as well against Vladilena. Kazan, Wii, this player is on fire right now, Saya.
Absolute domination in those situations, and once again, another 2 points on the side of Dengi Zappa, except this time, it's for the entire game. It's for advancing on the winner's side of the pools right now. The flip available for Vongola, taking one barrier, but look at that. Both of them don't have any meter. The side of Chikara Icebreakers needs to capitalize, but they lose both barriers instead. Zyoshi gets one, but it's going to take a lot more than just that. Flop drop, dropping back to defend. Cannot make it happen. Elusives to get out of the potential KO. It's Yoshi trying to get the barrier, but still defended by Thankies. And now it's Wii against an open net. Flop has to drop back yet again. This team is holding on.
Yeah, they're holding on for now, but as Wii has the core here, you gotta be careful with this closed umbrella into that bottom corner. The pull strike doing so much this game. Wii just forces it in and advances their team to the winner's side after the pools here. I mean, I did not expect this at all, Sai. I don't know how this Wii guy has been just staying under the radar. I've never heard of them once, but just completely impressing me there with that Kazan level, that Kazan play there. The level of play is so high with the 9 goals and 21,000 damage. And take a look here at the stats, by the way. This is what I was talking about. Look at Vongola of the Rain's damage on now, by the way. 41,000 on a healer character, guys. Can I get a round of applause for the Odyssey Balance team, everybody?
Unfortunately, the now buffs were a little too much.
I think so. I mean, the character definitely isn't the easiest to understand in the world. I can admit that. Definitely a little bit weird to play. I think definitely a little bit stronger in that goalie role as well. But if you know what you're doing in the midfield, you know, you're doing well with your strikes. You're able to just keep healing like you are trying to do anyway on the character. You will also do damage at the same time, just with your primaries and with that secondary buff too. The damage is just too much. I mean, as we see here, but that's nothing to take away from their success there. The level of play they showed in that game definitely proves that. I mean, they belong here in the winner's side, and as a shaft to get into liftoff, I think, definitely. And Chikara Icebreaker is a little bit of a heartbreaker there, but I think, you know, they're still in it. It's not over yet. I think their comp was a little bit interesting. I definitely, you know, would like for them to be running, if they're going to run that core control comp, with the 3 stagger swaggers, in my opinion, or at least put the spark on somebody else. I feel like Yoshi was just getting beaten up that whole game with that no stagger swagger, and without getting sparks, it was just so brutal.
Yeah, it was definitely tough, but we're heading to a new lobby, another matchup.
New game, new lobby.
And I'm seeing a bit of a team kill here. Oh my.
Oh, again?
This is not just a Chikara team kill this time. This is a Seraphim team kill. It is hot strikers in your area. Max LC, Moshi, Tempo Melon versus Seraphim, Fire Engine Red, Ripstick, Monch, and Zidio.
Uh-oh. Hey, for those who don't know, I am a regular over at the Seraphim events / Discord. I've known those guys for through the course of many different games, so definitely a friend of that whole squad. So
never
seeing
mind,
this is a little bit rough. Oh, you get them backwards?
I got them backwards. My bad. They were lined up the opposite way inside the video game, and I did not check the rosters, and I got Seraphim mixed up.
Yeah,
there we go.
Oh, there you go. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. Hey, either way, whatever yapping I was about to do, let's just talk about the teams anyway, regardless of what's going on here. Let's see. On let me open my bracket here just to make sure I'm not yapping a little more than usual. Seraphim Fire Engine Red. It's a great color, by the way. We got Max LC, the recent actually OSAS champion. So definitely coming here to show up here. Moshi and Tempo Melon going to be rounding out that squad. So definitely something to look out for. Got a lot to prove here. And the hot strikers in your area, Monch, Ripstick, and Zidium, definitely one of the newer rosters. I've seen them kind of playing together a little bit more recently. But again, got a lot to prove on both of these teams. And this is the place to do it, as once again, we're on the Atlas Lab. Very popular map. And Zentaro hovers here with a Luna ban hover as well. Definitely not surprised here. Max, definitely a very, very strong Luna goalie player.
Yeah, I actually did a little bit of coaching with Max earlier on just general goalieing on the Luna, on the Dubu, and with that Luna off the table, it might be the Vice or the Dubu, probably the Dubu coming out, but these two teams, very, very violent on Atlas's lab, picking, oh, it's the Atlas, okay, but this is a lot of damage coming out on both sides. The X, we'll see what it's accompanied by, probably the Era if I had to guess. No, just the Vice, okay, more damage.
I wonder what the starting awakenings here are. We'll have to see as we get into game right about now. Will be that Asher goalie as compared to the Atlas and the Zentaro instead of the X, but the Vice midfield on both sides going to be coming through here. Let's see, Pummelers is going to be taken for Zidium, and actually double fan braces for the side of Seraphim here, and it's actually going to be a specialized heavy impact start. Oh my goodness, Saya, this is going to be a bloodbath.
Oh my, all of these strikers getting basically bis, all the forwards anyway, right off the bat. This is an incredibly high-powered match, and Zidium's already almost dead as elusive bars are so low on both sides. This Vice trying to be KO'd, but that leaves Ripstick open to go forward, almost get the barrier, but defended away by Max LC. Will not let that barrier fall too easily, but the one falling is only the Vice who was staggered first.
Yeah, and it's going to be a bit tough now, I think, for Hot Strikers in your area to defend this, but you never know. Moshi, unable to get it through for now. Tempo Melon just not able to quite get it to them, but the damage is still coming through. But Zidium with the Pummelers damage, I believe, with the heavy impact mixed in there. That's a lot of impact damage and knockback going to be coming through, just taking out the opposing Vice with almost like a barely even channeled at all ultimate. So that's definitely something you've got to watch out for as when you're playing against that Vice, rather, even if you have one on your own. Now it is Seraphim that's going to be looking awfully low here, but the abilities from Hot Strikers in your area are definitely low, but it's not going to matter now as the middle pops. The Gravity Well going to be now refreshing all that damage coming in, but X-Lore coming in here trying to keep it away, and a great Zentaro combo from Monch actually to take out the X, but a great Thunderstruck from Tempo Melon actually taking out both. So now it's going to be a 2v1 here, but Ripstick moves up, challenges that midfield interaction. The Strike War doesn't even need it, uses the core flip down to that bottom corner. The Atlas not going to get there on time.
Perfectly played from Ripstick, every single aspect, the confident dribbles, the primary knowing that Tempo Melon can't stuff it through, and then flipping to the bottom corner. Just immaculate goalie performance from Ripstick there, and Ripstick just moving up yet again, getting the barrier, doing everything.
Yeah, just doing so much right now. I mean, the Asher goalie, when it works, it definitely works, but looking real low as we're seeing now, trying to play away from this X, but here comes the X Maximus, and that Asher goalie will be going down and losing that barrier. It's not the end, though. I think, after that Atlas ult, they're definitely looking healthy, but no, it's definitely the end here as the double KO now from Moshi, just going to be punching and X-luring the enemies with that specialized training into the back of their own net, right? It's just, once the X starts rolling, I mean, it's a pretty big snowball pick. It doesn't stop, right? The X train keeps coming as another point here, 1-1 now for the first set.
Oh, and Moshi just there at the right time, getting the strikes at the right time, almost staggered, but still staying alive as Monch trying to do the offense here, but can't really find too much. Great expanse from Max LC enables that play to be made. What a save coming out from the Atlas.
Yeah, actually, the biggest thing with that little play there is actually the clear there from Max LC, hitting it in the middle of both Monch and Zidium, getting it right to Moshi, just the straight pass there. One of those, I guess, kind of gotcha clears where they try to cover both sides, make sure they can't go up or down, but then all of a sudden you have that middle clear, right? So definitely have to be careful of that. So 2-1 now for Seraphim, looking really strong in this game right now, especially after that first point. So feeling in control here. Tempo Melon on this top side with the stun. Not going to be taking the teleport. Doesn't really need it. Has that core flip as well, but still not going to need it as Moshi gets that second barrier. Using that core flip. Great pass down to Moshi right through Monch, basically, and puts into that bottom corner. Sad Boys emote flash. Vaughn is happy as the moment, and they are just popping off right now. I mean, Seraphim looks like they came to play right now, Saya.
Yeah, and they get the first pick on the X, but unfortunate. Oh, wait, no, it's perfect form, isn't it?
Uh-oh. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. I think Perfect Form X, definitely very, very strong, and it denies the Zentaro, so I 100% would be taking that here. With the extra special with the heavy impact going over to Zidium, so that's definitely going to be a little bit scary. Twin Drive going to be taken away from Max LC, but gets the prime time anyway, and the Zentaro still gets aerials. Not the end of the world, still gets a dash training, has heavy impact already. And also, Egoist, definitely underrated in my opinion. In this game, definitely not going to be getting too many flips in my opinion, but Tempo Melon, if they're able to kind of stay untouched for a little while, always has the option for that, right?
Yeah. Oh, Moshi, oh my god, so much damage. Still staying alive. Got the knockback canceled from the center with the pad splitter. And somehow this X is still standing.
Yeah, still standing. Still staggered right now, just getting beaten up. That's kind of the X life right now when you play against these damage compositions. And, okay, gets taken out finally by the Hazard of the Gravity Well here, and the play is going to be converted by Monch. Great pass from Ripstick down there as well. And just a great little quick, what's it called? Little penalty play, I guess you want to put there. A little man-up situation for the side of Hot Strikers in your area.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, as you said, this could be the turnaround for Hot Strikers in your area. Monch getting in there, but unfortunately the Zentaro blink is not quite enough to get past the Atlas. Moshi now dribbling, has a corner open, but Ripstick is just taking up so much space in the midfield as that Asher, and this confidence is what we want to see here as Monch with the rush forward as well. There's great team plays coming out from Hot Strikers in your area.
Yeah, great team play indeed, and then using the Pummelers and Siphoning one kind of combo here to just exert so much pressure and keep Seraphim on their toes. Moshi now has to run away, almost gets tagged by that Vice ultimate, but a great job avoiding that. Still in trouble though, as the stagger bar has definitely not come back. I don't think it'll be coming back anytime soon, but maybe I'll eat my words here as the great Atlas ult from Max actually keeping Moshi alive here. Monch now looking incredibly low. Can they defend this core flip though? And they do for now. Okay, great strike there. Zidium not quite able to convert off of that. Tempo Melon with a good ultimate, kind of keeping things a little bit calm for now. Max LC now the one looking low, but I don't think he'll be dying anytime soon, as Moshi coming in here, pressuring Ripstick. But one thing about that Asher goalie is it's so hard to kind of pressure them overall. Max gets there in time, get a great save on that top corner, gets another one on the bottom corner here, needs to get it to Tempo, but Moshi is now dead, so now they have to play defense again, or else this might be a 2-0 in this set. Ripstick, it's playing so far up right now with these momentum boosts, but they can't really get past this Vice and this Atlas combo, and now they actually lose the barrier because Ripstick is playing so far up, so a great play there from Tempo Melon and Max, but oh no, Monch, no! He messed up there, I believe, just struck the wrong way, or just missed the strike where I'm actually not sure which one that was. Tempo Melon either way gets the goal credit, and Ripstick unable to get a strike on that, not really expecting the direction of that strike there.
Oh yeah, that's such a tough situation. Dribbles it twice, but really just didn't want the second dribble at all. And that means Max has a few more chances than he should have, unfortunately, for any fans of Hot Strikers in your area. And unfortunately, for any fans of Hot Strikers in your area, this might just be another point in the favor of Seraphim Fire Engine Red as they push forward yet again. Max has flip available, sends it to Moshi, but a great primary by Ripstick will keep them alive. Another play by Moshi, not quite enough, but Tempo Melon pressuring Ripstick out. The specialized X special that can't be elusive now, no meter by Ripstick, but still staying alive.
Yeah, Zidium with a great ultimate there to keep it, getting that barrier, but it doesn't even matter as Tempo Melon now with that core flip, I believe that was, actually getting it to Moshi, who just puts it right past Ripstick. Just no real hope of saving that one at that point. Seraphim is turning this set around right now, Saya, as they're honestly starting to look pretty strong again, just like they were in that first set. So I don't really know what happened early on, but that doesn't matter at this point because they're just looking on fire right now.
Once again, Moshi getting one barrier, looking for two. Great stun by Tempo Melon, defended away by the combination of Monch and Ripstick. They need to make something happen quick, but his Zentaro special will only hit air, as Max is just so consistent with these clears, has a lot of room to work with. Zidium is dead. Monch cannot get the barrier. Tempo Melon gives Monch another chance, unfortunately, but that's fine as well. The expanse is up. Moshi has an opportunity here, but it's defended away. Again, the power play does not bear fruit for Seraphim Fire Engine Red, unfortunately. But Hot Strike is in your area. One more shot.
Yeah, definitely got one more shot here. A couple more shots, in my opinion, as they still have another set just in case this one goes south. And this one's looking like it's about to go south as you have Moshi with that specialized Training X getting that barrier and that core flip, now keeping it forward for now. Tempo Melon with the ult, but a great primary from Zidium, able to stop it for now. Max has to use the core flip there to stay alive, it looked like, really just keeping it away from Monch as well. The expanse going down as well, and losing that barrier, has nothing left. Tempo Melon now does have that core flip, though, with the Egoist, so you have to watch out for that as the primary comes through. Going to be looking to use that core flip here, but it's not going to amount to much as Moshi now pressuring Ripstick forward. Not going to be doing too much damage, but maybe if they can get the core, no, it's not going to matter. The Asher looking so incredibly strong into this X right now as Max just unable to hold for that long. Too many chances thrown his way, and Zidium finally converts.
Open goal situation again, pretty difficult for the Atlas. Still well fought by Max, and of course incredibly well fought by Ripstick on the other end. And now it is Tempo Melon taking so much damage here, but holds just a little bit longer. Stays alive and is now at full stagger.
Yeah, I actually like that little play too. Tempo Melon and Zidium pop the ult kind of at the same time. Tempo Melon popping a little bit after, and Max putting that that heal, that Atlas ult, right on top of Tempo Melon, so it actually is not going to matter. They don't get knocked back, they don't get damaged too much there, as Zidium getting damaged a lot, getting taken off the map, and Monch now has to play for this orb, but cannot, just looking so incredibly low here. Forces out an elusive as well. Moshi getting that first barrier, but they're able to hold both until Zidium comes back online. Moshi now looking incredibly low. Zidium almost taking him off the pitch. Tempo Melon now going to be trying to defend with Max as Moshi goes down. Now the Egoist gets procced. Can they run past here? But Ripstick with the flip. But no, the Atlas primary denies it. Doesn't get the barrier. Not quite able to do that. But Tempo Melon coming here, gets healed, has to use the core flip though. Got a little bit scared. They're unable to get much out of it. And now kind of an even game coming back here. But Max LC does still have that core flip. So I'd say the side of Seraphim looking a lot more comfortable. Pops it early though, as Moshi trying to get this tempo a little bit further up. But Ripstick is just looking like solid in this net right now. Monch now has this core flip after taking out, and they have the striker advantage. Pops it right away, just a little bit early for my taste, but that was a great pass down to Ripstick. Ripstick reacts to it in time as well, getting into that top corner, and Max LC now feeling the pressure. Tempo Melon respawns now, so it is an even game here, but an open barrier on the side, or excuse me, one barrier left on the side of Hot Strikers in your area. Monch now looking low. This game is absolutely crazy. This bloodbath is wild as Monch actually comes down and hits that strike off that bottom side wall, getting it into that top corner. Max LC, no abilities left, not much you can do. You did great early on, but just, man, the amount of pressure that Hot Strikers in your area was actually able to, I guess, lay on the enemy there and along Seraphim, just making it so uncomfortable for them, especially Moshi on this X, just so hard for them to play.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm glad that it turned out this way. I'm glad we are at 1-1, not 2-0, because
oh yeah, I agree.
I like to enjoy the Seraphim team kill while it lasts, you know? When there's Seraphim versus Seraphim, I wanted to go the distance. But I will say, Max does pick up that Ponderer. That does mean good things for the future.
Yeah, definitely very good here. And Moshi actually getting that Spark of Resilience too. 450 stagger is definitely no joke, and with the Vam braces as well, going to be having, you know, maybe slightly of an easier time. It's not going to matter too much, but oh my goodness, this doesn't even need the punch there. Just the bull rush from the X. They're actually going to be taking Monch off the pitch. Both barriers going to be traded out here. Actually, that bottom one doesn't even go down yet. Oh, never mind. Goes down there, but so does Moshi, as Zidium with a great primary on that Vice going to be taking him out. That top air goes down as well from a great play from Tempo Melon, using that Vice ultimate to just get everybody out of the way. Moshi now comes back online. Monch looking incredibly low, but so is Max, who has to get that orb and has to use that expanse to save for now. Tempo Melon now forcing Ripstick to use that Asher secondary to keep it alive. Moshi coming in and just a simple strike down to that bottom corner. Left him alone for a little bit too long there, and too long being like 0.3 seconds. So the one time X gets to play, I guess they score. Works out for them.
Really good confidence as well from Moshi. Has been very good. Very patient with these strikes, which is definitely a huge boon to have as an X who's looking to get the goals. But Zidium right away. Again, patience from Tempo Melon. The Supernova gets so much value. Max gets the saves. Tempo almost building up the flip now. Has the speed to work with. And it just feels like Seraphim Fire Engine Red are activated.
Yeah, I mean, That's what we said last time too, right? But Hot Strikers in your area was able to kind of claw it back, right? After getting that first point and then going down 2, they're able to claw it back. But it's looking a little bit difficult now as Ripstick goes down. Forwards in the net for the side of Hot Strikers in your area. Can they defend? Max LC using that core flip to get it up a bit faster, but a good Zentaro ultimate. The Oni's Blade keeping it forward for now. Moshi with that specialized training almost killing so many people, but it's not quite going to work out. But the healing still coming in here. Moshi with that spark of resilience looking so much more tanky, so much harder to actually KO now. Tempo Melon now taking off Zidium on the other end of the pitch. Moshi going to be investing that core flip here, but a great save from Ripstick keeping it out as the barrier now goes down from Max LC, but it's not going to matter. The damage over time was just too much from Tempo Melon and Moshi, and Ripstick goes down along with the goal.
Oh, that could have been the picture perfect hero
close.
play. It was so close. The barrier was taken as well, but in the end, Ripstick dies, and that's the end of it. Oh, that's so tough. But once again, maybe this time it's real. Maybe this time it is Seraphim Fire Engine Red showing up strong, because it's looking 2-0. They're showing no signs of slowing down, but a missed strike by Max LC means that Monch will get the barrier. The passing plays will start against his Atlas, who is a little too immobile to defend against all of them. And as Moshi advances, it is just a Soul X, an immobile X, and just easily passed around.
Yeah, and I really think the big difference here, like the difference maker in these points, was the trainings that Tempo and Moshi were able to get a hold of, right? That 20% hit harder damage on the Vice. But hey, I mean, as I'm saying that though, Monch shows that they're not out of this game yet, and a great Zentaro combo just kind of keeps it in Max LC's net. I mean, that's one way to put it, I guess. Gets it around Max LC to that bottom corner. But what I was trying to say here, right, and the reason that Seraphim Fire Engine Red, except for that last point, has been looking so strong is that extra damage from the Vice with Tempo Melon, and also Moshi just has that slightly extra time to live with that Stagger or Spark of Resilience, or Spark of Resilience. And with the perfect form, you guys got to keep in mind, that's more time and more hits that he's going to be getting cooldowns. And there you go. Now both are down here. The X Maximus going to be taking both barriers, and now they have such an advantage in this point. But no, Tempomon uses that core flip a little bit wrong there and just cannot find anything of it. Max LC now forced to use one defensively of his own. One barrier still left to play with, though. Feeling a little bit comfortable, but has to defend this for now. Moshi coming back to help out, and they manage to get it clear. Ripstick now has to keep it on the offensive. They need to keep pressure on Seraphim Fire Engine Red, because if they do not, then they will have such a hard time here. Tempo Melon now going to be punishing Monch there for just living with that Vice ultimate. Zidium going to be looking incredibly low here too, but a great save from Monch and Ripstick keeping Zidium alive as Moshi was not able to find that KO. Tempo Melon now keeping it on this top corner. Monch with a great core flip, actually getting it past Max LC and almost goes in there. The goal barrier actually that was just coming up saved Max LC's hide there almost. Moshi looking a little bit low. Max LC finding some time and a great pass in through the middle to Moshi and just sets up that X Bull Rush into the bottom corner. Great play there from Seraphim Fire Engine Red.
And that's what Max does best. Those patient dribbles. One dribble, look for an angle, and right through the middle, through absolutely everybody. And now this draft might just be what pushes Seraphim Fire Engine Red over the edge. They have access to Quick Strike, Fight or Flight, Knife's Edge, so much Super Surge even, but we'll just go with the Spark. We'll start sparking up. No tempo swing on the board for that crazy scaling, but Stagger Swagger on Ripstick. This goalie might just hold forever.
Yeah, the Stagger Swagger on Ripstick, but keep in mind, guys, Max LC also now got Orb Dancer and Orb Ponder with 8 stacks on both, so it's not going to take long for Max to finish those stacks. So hard to KO this Atlas for the side of Hot Strikers in your area, right? Because if you apply that much pressure to Max LC, it's going to be a lot harder to defend Ripstick and defend your own net. But you might not even need to as Tempomon going down. But no, a great save there actually for the Atlas, for Max on the side of Seraphim Fire Engine Red. Tempo and Moshi keeping it away from Zidium and Monch so far. Monch looking incredibly low, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Tempo Melon trying to keep it forward for now. And actually a great primary from the Vice there keeps their dreams alive here, gets that last barrier up. But Monch and Zidium, another play on their own here. Moshi, great, I guess, evade there, keeping alive from Zidium's ultimate. Tempo Melon, a little bit dangerous of the Vice ultimate there in front of their own net, but Max is able to deal with it as the middle's coming up soon, and Moshi taking off Zidium from the field. Tempo Melon over to Moshi. Great flip there from Ripstick. The Stagger Striker, like you said, I mean, keeping Ripstick alive for now, but that doesn't mean that it keeps the rest of your teammates alive. But it means that you can hold a little bit longer, so you may be right here, Saya. This may just be easier for Hot Strikers in the area to hold now, as we're just getting so much more time. But as I say that, Ripstick looking really low, Moshi looking really scary as this X right now with all these incredibly good trainings, the perfect form, the specialized training, the 2 sparks, and Ripstick having to run away from him, just not in position to make that save. Moshi hits it right on that top side to the top corner.
And unfortunately, as well as Ripstick holds, when the core gets that fast, it's a little bit too difficult for the Asher once again in the open net. And I just gotta say, Max has been so good, so patient, and honestly been performing above what I think anyone would have expected, just dribbling so patiently, setting up so many opportunities. Look at that, what a supernova by Tempo Melon, and this team is just performing.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, another goal, a little bit of a random one there. Ripstick and Zidium just maybe distracted by the musculature on that X, right? I know I would be if I was in that arena. I'm sorry, the chatting is a little crazy here. But either way, 2-0 now. Seraphim Fire Engine Red looking very strong right now. Seems like they're almost unstoppable as Monch just almost gets taken out immediately. And notice how the same amount of pressure and damage was dealt to the X, but it doesn't even matter because 2 sparks, Spark Resilience plus Van Braces, there's just no killing this X now. It's almost hopeless. The draft diff is coming through. The first barrier goes down. The second one will be short to follow here, maybe, but Ripstick and Zidium are kind of performing some heroics here. Actually, Zidium gets that barrier from Max. A little bit of slip up from the Atlas on Seraphim's side. Ripstick now, though, looking incredibly low. The Stagger Swagger might not be enough to save him, but does dodge that Vice Primary, so able to be saved for now. Tempo Melon has that core flip to work with here. Moshi, looking for KO, but not quite able to find it. Zidium hanging on by a thread on that side of the map. Moshi keeping it on that top corner, though. I mean, Seraphim Fire Engine Red, they might not be finishing these goals or these KOs, but they're still keeping up pressure this whole time. And there you go. They found Ripstick with that core flip from Tempo Melon. Great play as a core flip from Max LC. Just not quite able. The core flips from Max have definitely not been there, but I don't think it's going to matter that much as just a normal strike to Tempo Melon puts it into that top corner. The pressure, like I was saying, just too much. And I think Seraphim Fire Engine Red showing why they deserve to be here as well.
Yeah, really good performance from all 3 members. Out damaging, and at the very end too, really smart to pull the trigger on the flip. The Vice flip with all of those awakenings just does so much damage and knockback. Secures the KO from such a high stagger range from Ripstick, and I gotta say, all 3 members of Seraphim Fire Engine Red, I think, performing quite well that game.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the stats, 9 goals on Moshi, but Tempo Melon, you got to keep in mind, that's 6 assists, actually, from Tempo Melon, and 2 goals of their own, right? On top of the 40+ K damage. Just really well played, and the 63 shots, too. So definitely playing super well, and one thing to definitely note here, I think my MVP of this game, Max LC, just playing so incredibly well. Really good Atlas ultimates, keeping his team alive, and also 200 redirects. That is more than everybody else in the game, allowing his team to, I guess, just keep the aggression on, right? Keep that aggression on, keep focusing on those that damages, and not really letting up all that pressure. Max LC just being the stalwart defender for Seraphim Fire Red in the back feels so good to have on your team. And, you know, that's not to say that I think Hot Strikers in the area didn't play well. I think they definitely had a great game. All their players, you know, keeping up in the damage, keeping up in the shot department, but they're just unable to find a lot of those finishes, and they're unable to really get the better end of, I think, the Awakening drafts there.
Yeah. And I will say Seraphim Fire Engine Red kind of got a little bit,
I'll say lucky.
Lucky, a tiny
skill.
bit, at the tiny bit lucky in the Awakening drafts, I gotta say, just a little bit. But you know, it was skill that allowed them to arrive at that point. So it's all skill.
Yeah. Hey, you know what they say, right? Luck doesn't exist. You have to put yourself there. I don't know who says that, but I just did. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure actually if we're gonna be going into another game or not.
We're doing one more.
We're doing one more game. We'll have to, and then while we're deciding that, do a little bit of chatting here. I guess just to round off that game, definitely pretty interesting one. A little bit of a bloodbath. Very different, I think, from the first game we saw. Definitely some decent amount of KOs in that first game, but both sides were just kind of battling it out. And while it was a 3-1 set win for Seraphim Fire Engine Red. I think both teams really showed that they can fight and they can perform on this stage. But a best of one gives and best of one takes away. You got to perform. You got to keep consistent in your one match and be prepared to win that game. Because if you don't, I mean, this is the last Launchpad, Saya. This is the last chance to qualify for this liftoff. Otherwise, they're going to have to be finding, you know, maybe another team to roll with that is already qualified, which is a lot easier said than done. So big, you know, pretty high stakes, I think, right now.
Yeah, and speaking of high stakes, this is one of the more high stakes matches in this entire bracket. It is a winner's qualifier match.
Ooh,
PSI
okay.
versus RDJ.
Oh, are we already? Oh, sweet. Okay. Let me jump over to that in the bracket.
We are speedrunning through this bracket.
I like this. Okay, PSI versus RDJ. Winner qualifies for liftoff. Both teams here actually. So yeah, I'm actually excited for this game. I think PSI. Was it Westy Wednesday that they're playing in the other day? I feel like I saw them in a recent tournament. Was it Westy Wednesday?
It could be.
It might have been. I couldn't remember. Either way, I've
Probably
seen them playing recently. I think they've been definitely looking pretty good recently overall, taking it to a lot of these like more, I guess, veteran quote unquote teams, or I should say veteran players. Not really too many veteran teams out anymore. Lots of roster swaps around, but it was Westy Wednesday. Okay, thank you very much, chat. Yeah, definitely playing well whenever I saw them playing in Westy Wednesday here, but RDJ has a couple players that have been popping off here in, you know, solo queue ladder, I think, overall. And so I'm excited to see how they kind of fit together as a team. We have Retry, who I've actually coached a couple times, and is just definitely one of the up-and-coming brawler players, in my opinion. Dran and Josh, both, I mean, I believe both of them are Pro League right now, which, you know, some might say is fake, some might say is a little bit, you know, inflated, whatever you want to say. But you still got to play the games to get there. You still got to be beating some of the better players that are playing still in the solo queue ladder and in the community to be even getting there consistently, and they have been doing that. I've definitely been getting them in some of my games and have been playing incredibly well, so I'm excited to see how they mesh as a squad, and yeah, and see if they can take it to the Westy Wednesday Phenom team, who upsetting some pretty good teams in that tournament. So I think this will be a pretty interesting game. I think I expect both of these teams to qualify regardless, Saya. But, you know, obviously it's going to be nice to qualify through this winner's side. I would not know that as last Launchpad, you know, we had to battle through that loser's side. It was definitely,
I got to say, what happened?
Hey, what, you want me to explain now to the stream? You want me to make excuses?
Well,
I can make as many excuses as I want. Now's the best time. Let's just say that not everything goes to plan when you're on a new team. Gotten a lot better since then. I think you guys will be surprised when Last Call makes their debut. It's not really debut anymore, I guess, but makes their liftoff appearance. I think you guys will be a little bit surprised there, but hey, congrats to the team that beat us and still able to cruise through loser's side. So I expect one of these two teams to be doing the exact same, right? Cruise through that loser's side, whichever one loses. But if I were them, I'd want to win right now, as we have everyone in the lobby, just waiting for Reddy's up here. Do we have the map already locked in, Saya?
Nope, they're figuring that out right now. But given what you know about these teams, what do you expect them to go to? It's probably Night Market or Atlas Lab, but which one? Yeah,
I'm expecting RDJ to probably take it to Atlas Lab, just given their like the characters that they play. I'm not really too sure about PSI. Like I said, I've seen them once or twice. I haven't really been keeping too much track of it. I've been pretty busy, so not really paying not really paying too much attention to it. So I want to see a different map. I mean, as much as I love Atlas Lab, I think, you know, we all want to see some different maps here, especially in these best of ones. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we see maybe
we're not getting a
Night Market. Maybe we're getting Atlas Lab.
No, I'll stop. So the decision is right now. They have to decide between Night Market or Atlas.
Oh, okay, so they're deciding between Night Market or Atlas Lab. Okay, thank you. I hope we see Night Market. That's the first time I think you'll ever hear me say that out loud.
They picked Night Market.
Just because I want some. Oh, they did pick Night Market. Okay, thank you very much. We get a new map to cast. Definitely don't mind that at all. Usually I prefer the Atlas Lab, but 3 in a row is a little too much for any map in my taste, except for the Clarion Corp. That's my favorite map.
You know what they call
getting
it.
This Night Market.
Some
they
people
do call it the Borg's Corp. Some people do call it that. I don't know who. I mean, call it what you want, but we're not going to be getting that map yet. I can yap about that one another time when I finally get to cast that one. But players are readying up. Looks like we'll be getting into Night Market shortly. And I'm excited.
Before we get our last ready and we queue up, though, I gotta look at the channel point predictions, and whoa! 102,000 versus 10K. Whoa!
Oh, I am betting right now. Holy, this is my time. A crisp 10K. Hey, no one else is allowed to bet. Everybody stop.
Whoa.
Oh, well, that's 100K. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Okay, I'm not worried anymore. No, everyone's betting on RDJ now. Yo, you sheep. Don't listen to me. Keep betting on PSI. Stop being sheep.
Borg.
Stop being sheep. I'm not a good analyst. I just bet on who's losing every time. I don't play for the money. I play for the payout, the upset. Oh my goodness. You guys don't even know the rosters yet. All right, here we go. Loading into Night Market here. Get our faces out of here as we got some pretty interesting hovers here. But as we know, we're going to be seeing too many interesting picks, in my opinion, on this Night Market map. There is some interesting stuff that is cooking up in the high elo scrims and games that I will not leak yet. But if we see something here, maybe I'll talk about it a little bit. Not going to be seeing too much, though, in these hovers, as it will be an Octavia ban. Closing in with that Juno ban. Marissa already knew, took off the Juno immediately, hovered that Era, so I'm expecting to see the Era here. And I'd be interested if it is a Rasmus as well. Era Rasmus, definitely not bad. It's just not quite as prevalent as like an Era Julie or an Era X that can keep up that consistent pressure and that consistent damage. But we will be seeing the Era Rasmus with the Atlas and the Dubu goalie on the other side with the Era into, we'll have to see the Brawler here loading in. Lock it in. It will be the Zentaro, actually, so retry, like I'm saying. You know, I've definitely coached this guy a couple times. Pretty strong on the Zentaro. I'm excited to see it pulled out in this game, and let's see the Awakenings. It will be Orb Ponderer Monumentalist Awakenings. Oh, man, I missed this elo, don't I? Holy, this is not boring at all.
I will say, though, I think I will have to... I don't know who to favor here, because I think both comps are incredibly fake. These are both very solo QE comps that don't really have that, I guess, like, stuffing potential. And I think it's really just down to the goalies. Whichever goalie plays better will just hold forever in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you overall. I think definitely there's a bit of that going here. And already we're seeing Tricky struggling to defend here against retries Zentaro. Zentaro definitely pretty good, in my opinion, against the Atlas. Just that primary able to stop the core, keeping it away from those Atlas abilities just before they disappear. Ooh, almost gets it in there, but the Monumentalist Tornado going to be putting in work now, forcing Tricky to use that Atlas ultimate. Just dings level 2 as well, so will be really, really nice. Retry. Oh, puts it in the top corner. The patience there and I mean, I'm just going to say it, the bravery from retry though, like just the fearlessness, sitting there on literally 1 HP, does not care whatsoever, gets a perfect pass from Josh, and it looks like the solo queue phenoms to get that first point.
Yeah, they're continuing onwards, and again, an amazing passing play, an amazing blink, and retry. I'm sorry for doubting it, okay? This Zentaro is something else. What the?
I'm taking credit for that one. That's the board coaching coming into full effect there. Retry popping off there on the Zentaro. Well played, young man. Coming in here, has a stack of that Orb Ponderer too. Orb Ponderer, actually a very interesting, I'd say pretty interesting for brawler picks, right? Like usually you don't really want orbs on brawlers, but on these Night Market map or on a map like Otten City or something like that, it's definitely not bad. But you know, well, nothing too crazy though overall. But the pressure either way still going to be coming through here. Josh, one thing that we haven't really talked about too much, you know, while Retry's getting all these crazy plays to get the barriers, Josh just sitting in midfield and not letting anything past them. And with a Dubu behind him, just literally, they're playing on top of each other at this point just because of how well everything is going. It doesn't even matter. Retry has just so much time to do whatever he wants because just having that midfield and that Dubu run up, basically a double midfield, lets you do things just like that. That's the third goal for Retry. That is the third point for RDJ. And it looks like my bet's looking pretty nice right now, Saya.
It is, but your odds, your payout isn't looking nearly as
yeah,
nice.
because the sheep in the chat. Why did I say anything, man? Why did I say anything? Oh my gosh, I didn't even check it. Come on, man. Why you guys gotta ruin everything? This is ridiculous. All right, whatever. Let's look at the draft, Saya. Ooh, Okay, I was looking at my other monitor. Heavy Impact now going to be going for retry, and with that siphoning one, going to be pretty difficult now. There's already so much damage coming in, so already going to be doing a lot more in this game. Stagger Swagger now from Tricky, definitely a great pickup. Definitely staying, having a lot of trouble surviving as retry is just berating and barraging Tricky with all the abilities going forward and these Monumentos Tornadoes coming in, but that doesn't mean that either the forwards on Atlas's team gets those effects. So still going to be pretty hard, I think, for PSI to make a comeback in this game, but everything is possible when it comes to best of ones and it comes to Omega Strikers. So starting off strong here, RDJ gets a barrier, but a great little pushback from PSI, able to get some space, but it's not going to be too much. They do get a barrier off of some interesting bounces there. Dran not really able to keep up with it too much, but Josh dribbling, waiting. They have a core flip, so does retry. They're looking really, really comfortable here as Spooked and Marissa just have zero energy, and they're both 2 levels behind. I mean, this is just almost a steamroll, Saya, as the Monumentos Tornado comes in, retry with that flip, gets it right past Tricky into that top corner. Marissa not really there in time, and oh man, this is not looking good for PSI.
It's not looking particularly close. This is just domination by RDJ. Maybe I should have been a little more faithful, but oh, wait a second. The Monumentalist NATO from the top ropes. Marissa creating an opening, but Josh is just holding it down in the midfield. They can barely get it past. They get 1 barrier, but not 2. Josh drops back again. This era is just second goaling so well, looking a little bit like the Kainoob to Dran's Gumi right now.
Hey, they got plenty of VODs to watch, and Josh, definitely a student of the game from the looks of it. Playing that double goalie, but Dran also playing that double midfielder. They're looking so comfortable with each other, but these random bounces, just becoming the Diva's worst nightmare here, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. There's some crazy stuff that's been happening here, but I think the pressure advantage still is going to the way of RDJ, in my opinion. Josh and Dran still looking pretty confident and in control, even without their barriers. Retry just still on the other side of the map, putting so much pressure down towards Marissa and Tricky. Expanse coming out, not really going to be doing much, as Tricky and Retry now have their shot to actually get it past Tricky and get it past, or at least forces Atlas to use a core flip. There we go, the core flip coming out. Dran going to be running up here. No, it's actually going to be running back, as Josh is the one who invests the core flip in getting that last barrier and actually winning the strike where they're against Spooked as well. And Retry with the blink, with the passive, using both dashes to keep up with the core before Tricky can get on top of it and getting that great bounce off the bottom corner in. That is 2-0 on the second set for RDJ.
We're starting to see the perils of picking this Rasmus here. Nerf due to solo queue was not actually that strong in organized play. Does not have the consistent stuffing power to get past Dran, and we saw that. Spooked had like 5 different opportunities on the top side, all saved away with a single strike by Dran, because it's just so hard to make the Rasmus pressure real, as the Rasmus isn't real anymore. Taken off the field, Marissa dying as well, and once again, domination by RDJ. Wait a second though, they almost let the barrier go, but it does not get taken, and now it's a retry with another opportunity forward.
Yeah, has that opportunity forward. At least it's going to keep it forward for now and keeping PSI on their toes. But a great little pendulum swing with the Bewitching Beam combo onto Dran there, forcing Dran to use all abilities. Now has no core flip as well and no barriers. Definitely, the shakiest we've seen him look so far this game, but I think it's going to be okay for now. But no, Spooked. Josh leaving Dran in that 1v1, thinking, the goalie's got this, but Spooked Alter with that speed up into the pendulum swing, catching Dran off guard, and finally able to make use of this Rasmus. And like you were saying, definitely, not my favorite map in my opinion to play this brawler on, as it doesn't really have, that many uses for the ultimate, even pre-nerf in my opinion. Just not really too many uses for this character overall on this map, but it's not impossible, as we just saw there. It could still get a goal, but it's going to be a lot more difficult, as it does not work as well with the era.
Yeah, now Josh is the one who has the meter, but Spooked is the one winning all the strike wars. Not even choosing the strike war, just stepping forward in front of Josh every single time, opting out of the strike war, just getting it forward regardless. Dran has to make the saves here. The night market bounce was not favorable, and Spooked has the flip available, has the pendulum swing. Good elusive by Dran, but the strike is not in time. Spooked now trying to silence the doubters, trying to get this set win, trying to even up the game, and maybe it's possible.
Hey, maybe. I honestly don't mind either team winning, because, if RGJ wins, I get my bet win. But if PSI wins, that means General Tui, who ruined my bet and bet everything on RDJ to ruin my bet, loses his money. So I'm happy with either outcome. of this, and keeping a close game is always fun. Retry, you know, trying to prove that it won't even be a close game. 2 slip-ups do not matter as a core flip. Ooh, not actually going to be doing too much there. Tricky and Marissa able to save that for now, but has to invest both core flips in doing so. So Dran, ooh, loses both barriers, though. The spooked altar Rasmus is looking pretty good now after all the shade we've thrown at it so far, but they do have a man up here. Dubuel keeping it forward for now. Josh and Retry get that second barrier. Tricky looking incredibly low, but that stagger strike should be healing him up fairly quickly, as Josh and Retry still have the advantage here, still have the forward pressure. But no, they cannot finish it for now. And, you know, Dran still has that core flip, so it's still going to be pretty hard. He uses it for now into Retry's primary, but no. Great save from Tricky. Great Atlas primary into Strike. Going to save it for now as Retry trying in one more time. How many tries does Retry need? Funny name there as it works out. But Retry now. No, it's not going to matter. Spooked Altar now with the 3rd goal of the set. Making use of Marissa's pass there off of the core into that top corner. I mean, I really don't even know what happened there. I was trying to keep up with it the best I could, but man, it feels like RDJ almost kind of just threw that one away, you know? I mean, Spooked Altar definitely started playing a lot better, and I think Tricky was holding it down for sure. They're finding their groove a little bit, but you know, I don't really know what happened for RDJ, though. We're going to have to see in this 3rd set if they can come back here, but this Awakening draft not really going to be doing too many good things for them here, unless the Zentaro can get perfect form, which he does. This is insane. What?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an unfortunate draft for the side of PSI. They give the perfect form over, and suddenly the game looks a lot less winnable. Missile Prop, a great pickup for Grant as well. Spook does have double orbs, but was it worth the perfect form, heavy impact, infinite cooldowns Zentaro on the other side?
Yeah, I don't really know what was the thought giving that to him, but hey, maybe Spooked wanted to get that double orb or deny it from Dran. Definitely, you know, kind of a one or the other scenario here of which one do you give. You give the perfect form or the orb of speed, the orb dancer to Dran, who already has that 10-stack orb. So, you know, definitely a hard choice, I think, overall. But, you know, they're making use of this set so far. Dran struggling now against Spook. I think Spook kind of unlocked a new gear here in their play, keeping it forward, winning so many strike wars, really is the most notable thing. Why play? It doesn't even matter what character you play if you win every single strike war, right? As Retry keeps it, uses that core flip, forcing out a core flip from Tricky and a great Dubu wall from Dran to actually get that last barrier. It was the one that got the credit for that. Now it's going to be no barriers on either side, but the side of PSI going to be looking a lot lower and a lot more scared than the side of RDJ. Here comes the Monumentalist Air Tornado. Here comes the push, but no, the core comes off the other side of it, and Spook now has a chance to make use of it. Getting shrunk and not going to be able to do too much, as Josh with the core flip, not going to be able to actually land much there, but it actually comes down, some interesting bounces down, tracks them to that bottom corner, hits it right up to Retry, and Tricky just unable to figure out what was going on there with that core, unable to stay on the top corner and does not save it. First point going over to RDJ.
A bit unfortunate. Marissa lost track of the core as well, could not cut the passing lane between Josh and Retry, but Spook trying to take it himself, trying to do everything right now, but look at that. Tricky has no meter available, just burn the expanse. The barriers are all down, and RDJ are looking more alive now than in the past few points here. One barrier gets taken, but it's okay, it's just one, as that expanse is great from Tricky to stop the offense, to keep the offense up for the side of PSI. Spooked Altar trying desperately to keep it going, but the Tofu Fortress will deny it. Will keep it up for Retry, sending it forward again and again. The passive, the primary, it's not enough. Another Tofu Fortress. This Orb Ponder is crazy, but Spooked Altar gets the barrier on the other side regardless. So many cooldowns burned by Dran, but Flip is available. And now it's looking scary for the side of RDJ.
Yeah, looking a little bit scary, but like you said, the Orb Ponder for the Dubu going to be allowing him to just put so many of those Missile Prop Tofu Fortresses out. But, you know, a lot of those Tofu Fortresses, it's kind of been, you know, a double-edged sword here. It's haven't really, some of them haven't worked out at all, but some of them at the same time have, but it doesn't even matter when you have a Zentaro that's popping off like that, getting the core flip out of Tricky, keeping that ball tracked with the Oni's blade there, and doesn't even need to use a core flip himself, shoves it right back into his net. That's 2-0 for RDJ, right as things were looking a little bit spooky for him.
Yeah, and the man who made it possible right now is just
Oh,
can
yeah.
only watch as both barriers go down. The bounce is perfect for the side of RDJ. Josh controlling the midfield. They could lose one barrier. They don't care. If they lose two, then it starts to be a bit of a problem, but it's not looking very likely as Josh continues setting it forward for retry. The special is dropped. The Tofu Fortress is dropped. Unfortunately, the top side is wide open, and the retry will not get the combo for the goal. And somehow, PSI hold on.
Yeah, hold on for now. After all of that, retry just, I think, unable to really land on that combo, but lands on that combo for sure. Perfect form. Zintaro going to be finding a KO into a triple damage there on top of the goal. Oh my goodness, retry, you are disgusting.
And gets the first pick here too. Oh,
Oh, Super Surge. It's
oh
over.
no.
It's over. Oh no.
GG.
Saya, how do you win at this point? I don't know. How do you win? I mean, okay, let's look at the bright side. Rasmus gets size, which definitely is very, very good here. We're going to be seeing the Atlas probably going to be denying something from the area. Yep, it will be that chrono boost. And then nothing too crazy here. I actually think specialized training is an interesting thing here with the Monumentalist Tornado. That can just KO you from a million years away, but none of them want to go for any craziness like that. We're going to be seeing Glass Cannon and Knife's Edge for just a little bit more movement speed on either side, but the biggest pickup here is going to be that Super Surge for retry. So many times, we're already seeing it pay dividends there, getting that first barrier. The second barrier going to be going down as well thanks to the Monumentalist Tornado, and there's the perfect form, gets it back up again, and this is how strong this character can be, guys. If you put a little bit of time into him and you get the right trainings, I mean, it's absolutely disgusting.
Retry also just read the hook angle from Spooked. Just absolutely predicted that. Gave no opening to the Rasmus. And now Spooked has no meter. Has to wait for cooldowns. And Retry is continuing to get cooldowns back to deal damage to get cooldowns back. It's just an infinite cycle.
Yeah, this perfect form training a little bit broken right now on certain characters that can make use of it, like the Zintaro is probably the biggest offender in my opinion. Let's see, retry. I mean, as we see here, core flip into ults, or ult into core flip into literally anything you want to say. A retry, if you get your hands on the core with that dash training, with that heavy impact, just hitting so incredibly hard, as well as the perfect form, just giving you so much more cooldowns back no matter what you do. It's just, there's not really too much to say about it. I mean, there's a lot to say, but there really isn't much important things to say. Retry, all it just depends on him not throwing. This game is basically just in his hands now. The Duper will actually taking out Spooked Altar there, but it's not going to matter as the Atlas ult keeps him alive for now. Josh, all you have to do is just get it to your Zintaro, which, you know, has been doing over the course of this game very consistently. Great flip from Dren here, and retry, great blink to hit stun Tricky. Not much you can do there for the Atlas, and Josh puts it away to end this game, and they are going to be qualifying for liftoff, Saya.
Welcome to Liftoff RDJ, and off the back of a performance like that, no one can say it wasn't deserved, but oh my, that's Zintaro. I can't believe it. He got everything.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I love to see it, right? I think I always love to see a good Zintaro pop off here. 16-minute game, making pretty much short work of PSI there, you know, kind of PSI fans in shambles a little bit there. Whoever bet that crazy amount of money that they had. I don't know how much it actually was. Maybe you have the numbers on that one side with that bet, but not feeling great after that game overall. You know, congrats to RDJ there, excuse me. Just playing so incredibly well. I was really excited to see how they would mesh as a team. I haven't really got to see them play together, so excuse me if they have been playing together for a little bit of time. I haven't really gotten to see it too much, but man, I think they just performed so incredibly well. I think Retry definitely the star of that show, but that's not to say that Dren and Josh did not play well. It's almost Drake and Josh, I just realized. Yeah, that could have been pretty funny. But either way, Retried playing incredibly well, as we see in some of these highlights right now. It was basically just a Zintaro show, and how could it not with all of those trainings just going over to him? Heavy impact. And keep in mind, by the way, heavy impact as well he had, which means that he was getting even more CDR with the perfect form as well. Like, there was some times I saw where he hit like 3 people with his ultimate and got his secondary back from frame 1. Like, he got it instantly. Yeah. So it's definitely a little bit let's just say we'll call it broken. I'll be brave and admit that those awakenings on my character are a little bit broken. I mean, maybe they can tune that down. I hope it's the trainings that get nerfed and not the character, but I mean,
You know,
I don't know.
given
It's
history,
rough.
it's probably Zentaro that's gonna get
It's
nerfed
probably going to be the
instead.
character, but it's okay. I'll persevere on and keep playing it, and so we'll retry after a performance like that. Oh, Awakenings or not, he definitely played well and deserved that win. So congrats to them for qualifying. It is not over for PSI, though. For the PSI fans out there, they can still qualify through losers bracket. They got to play a couple more games. You know, it's looking a little spooky, but that doesn't mean it's the end for them. They got to win. I believe it's just 2 games, actually. So they got to win 2 games, and we will be seeing them later as long as they can get through that first losers round 3. So we should be seeing them later if they can keep performing well and get to that losers round 4 to still qualify. So, you know, not the end. Some great games we saw today so far, Saya, and we will be moving over to round 2. I believe we're just taking a quick break over and changing up casters unless we're doing one more, I'm pretty sure.
No,
This should be
we're out of here. We're out of here.
That's what I thought. I better say. I mean, I was vibing out, but we are going to be passing it over to, I believe, Liari and Brickbat, who will be, you know, rounding up the second block of this Launchpad 2. And thank you guys for watching. This has been Borg and Saya. Fun little casting duo, always fun. And see you guys later.
Hello, everybody, and we are back for Launchpad 2. Today I've been joined by the wonderful Liari, who will be joining me here in the commentating booth as we are getting into game immediately for Omega Legends versus Kerchow. And I think going into this, I think before we got onto cast, we were talking about the matchup a little bit, and I think we're kind of expecting a Kerchow blowout here, I believe, right? Just not all the respect, all the love to Aerial Snack and the gang as a Arizonans got to stick together here in this cold, dark community without Arizona, but it's looking really rough for them coming in, I think, immediately.
Yeah, I think when you have Wallaby, Megaverse, and Mystic on one team, two players who have played NASL games and one player who came really close to qualifying last season versus a NASA team that unfortunately has lost some players since their NASA performance and also hasn't had the great results recently. You're kind of looking at Kachao to have a dominant win and for Omega Legends to prove that hey, like they can at least tussle with them. That I think is their goal.
Yeah, and I think they might be. For those who weren't in the loading screen, which is every viewer, we did see that a little small thing was that everyone in Omega Legends was indeed having or hovered or had an Octavia profile picture, which I think maybe they're key to winning this. Maybe they're dropping hints, but if they are to pull it out, now would be a good time to do it. But for now, we're going to see an Kai Estelle ban. Kai probably going to target Megaverse's historic pick, and the Estelle ban probably done to ban out, I believe it would be Aerial Snack's champion pool.
Yeah, I think Aerial Snack is their forward, so probably Mod too, but
Yeah,
or
well,
I guess Aerial Snack isn't their forward.
yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing the hovers right now. Aerial Snack has historically been this team's forward player, bringing out like Zentaro and Asher, but we did see Matu pull out the Rasmus for the Brawler in the OSAS qualification that he played for, which I think speaks a little bit to the a little bit of experience disparity here, but I think that they are going to be on their comfort picks here, with the exception of Aerial Snack. So hopefully they will be able to show us, a little bit of the game, show us a little bit of that new blood flowing through their veins.
I'm really surprised that Mystic's team Kachao banned out Estelle and then put him on Rune, but I'm assuming that it's just peak performance in Missile Prop. I guess they just really didn't want to play against Estelle. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and we are going to be starting a little bit off. We're going to be starting a little bit as we are getting into Oni Village. One barrier goes down for the side of Kerchow as they try to now get it up the field. With the assistance of that missile propulsion, Megaverse will have a nice little lock and load pressure in the midfield line. Now Wallaby Ginks are the one on the offensive though as he wins some strike wars, but Ma2 is able to help his goalie and clear it out. Now we are going to see scoring opportunity actually for the side of Omega Legends. Despite all that buildup we have, it looks like it's going to be Mod2 and Aerial Snack taking the first goal of the game.
A quick first round. I really think the Base Awakenings favor Omega Legends team. There's definitely some good ones. Missile Prop on Jakar goalie. Megaverse has to be loving that. And quick KO by Wallaby on Aerial Snack.
Yeah, and so they will use this power play to their offensive. It looks like they are trying to score on Wadiwa, and a good death touch from Wallaby Gangsta means that Wadiwa will have to give up that second barrier. Though that being said, Matu does win one strike war, now putting a little bit of pressure onto the Megaverse, but it is cleared through the top side fairly easily. Wadiwa unfortunately losing his flip, which means that if it goes to him again, Wallaby might have a good opportunity to score here, and now Mystic with a good pillar, setting himself up for a nice little goal, a nice little assist on Wallaby's goal actually, is now Kerchow evening up the points.
Clean score. Everyone hit level 2. Mystic got a pretty good double banish. It was really unfortunate. Matu was barely inside the goalie zone to reduce it, and the next round starts.
Yeah. Aerial Snack now trying to help his goalie get cleared, but Wallaby is a little bit patient, probably waiting for that cooldown to get that hit stun. Not going to find it. Almost sends Wadiwa off the map with a nice little pendulum swing, but unfortunately not going to be found. Flip does come out from Wallaby, but again, Wadiwa still holds strong. Now, Matu and Aerial Snack turn to be on the offensive. Megaverse, though, gets a nice little clear on the top side. Mystic's Banish comes out as well, which means that the core will go towards Wadiwa again. Now, corner clears do come out from the side of Omega Legends, but a flip from Mystic is going to secure that second goalie barrier. Now, Matu and Aerial Snack, again, one more opportunity to even up the sets, but a nice little Molten Bolt will set Mystic up to win the midfield interaction. Now, Death Touch comes out, barely manages to save the goal, Wadiwa. But now Wallaby has another attempt, is shrunk though, but now he's back up again, and as soon as that size comes up, he's able to win that strike war, and now 2 points go over to the side of Kerchow.
Great clean score. We saw Wallaby hang back there, let Mystic get up there and pop his core flip for the last barrier. And something I'm really liking from Ma too is these back passes to the Dubu. He's doing it a lot and getting a lot of good value out of it. I think it's catching Kachao off guard and leading to this game looking a lot closer than we would have expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to see a barrier trade come out for both goalies, but I don't think either one's particularly upset about that on Oni Village. Aerial Snack trying to get possession of the core, will burn his flip to do it, but Megaverse is ready for the bounce. Now, Pillar from Mystic and Banish come out, but nothing is found for now, as Ma 2 with actually a nice little, I guess, flow with that death touch, almost able to get a goal on Megaverse, but nothing happens for now. Flip does come out for Wadiwa, able to clear on that top side. But for now, Ma2 and Aerial Snack need to convert, and they almost do. Flip does come out, but Mystic is there with the pillow to help out his goalie, which means that Megaverse still has all of his cooldowns and his flip if needed, though. It does go to his side again. Death Touch comes out, which means that that flip will be blown from Megaverse, unfortunately not hitting the core, but now Wallaby has one opportunity to get this goalie barrier. Doesn't get it as we go into overtime, but the banish is there finally. Now things are looking a little bit rough for Omega Legends as Wallaby now one more opportunity, but it gets cleared away by the forwards of Omega Legends. Now Megaverse playing a little bit patiently, trying to get a clean clear so that his forwards have cooldowns for this, and there it is. A nice little dribble from Wallaby. It will actually be passed over to Mystic, and Mystic will sink in that final goal of the set.
Very good awareness by Mystic walking up there. I'm seeing that consistently from this forward duo. Wallaby kind of sets things up for Mystic to finish it, or vice versa. And it's really good synergy. Usually you see only the midfielder doing that for their forward.
Yeah, and it looks like Wallaby is going to be rewarded with, I believe, a fight or flight. Actually, what are your thoughts on these awakenings here on Oni Village especially? I'm imagining that the move speed is really, really powerful.
Yeah, fight or flight really strong. Feels really good. Anything that let you get going faster as Rasmus on Oni makes you feel really good. And then also lets Rune get the perfect form, and now he's just gonna banish and then get hella cooldowns back with his pillars.
Yeah, and we do see an interesting combo here from Wadiwa. I think that Monumentalist is a bit of a contentious pick in the Dubu community, as it were, for how good it is. I think on goalie, I think the missile prop might assist that out a little bit, as we see, yeah, that Tofu Fortress doing a lot of work, but yeah, again, we did see this again in Afrika, I believe, the Monumentalist pickup from Wadiwa and the Dubu. What are your thoughts?
I think Monumentalist is okay. I feel like it's not like the most high value pick in the world. I probably would have preferred denying perfect form or just taking it yourself, or taking Orb Ponder and setting up like the Orb win con. Monu's a little weird. I think like it helps, but it also just like makes the hitboxes bigger, which is helpful in some situations, but doesn't do anything in other ones. So it's weird.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to see an open net, though, for the side of Omega Legends. Wallaby trying to march it down the field, but no purchase found so far, as Mystic able to help his goalie out to save one goalie barrier, but it's unfortunately for nothing, as it does go down in the end, though. That being said, Wallaby and Mystic there again with a scoring opportunity, and it's going to burn that defensive flip, but Mystic is there with a flip of his own, able to answer that, as Wallaby gets a nice little KO at the end there to get some nice little experience at the end.
Yeah, I really like those primaries in the net when someone core flips and you punish them for striking the puck and standing too far back in their net, so they just die even though they get it out and then it gets scored on. And great positioning by Mystic, of course. Quick barrier by Kachao.
Yeah, definitely as well. And we are seeing Kachao after a little bit of a closer start now. Seems like they are going to be pulling away, but Aerial Snack and Ma are still holding on. They are helping their goalie when it's needed. They're not making this too much of a free ride for the side of Kachao, as now Ma2 is going to find himself on the offensive again, but unfortunately Miss Dribble is going to be punished by a topside clear, but Aerial Snack is a few redirects away from a flip of his own if he could just get in front of the goalie barrier. But Wallaby actually, Ma2 with an excellent death touch, actually defending the goalie barrier, unfortunately is going to go down in the end, and things are looking a little bit claustrophobic, but it's going to be cleared out by Aerial Snack, though. Wallaby is going to be there to catch that core flip. Now, core flip up for Wadiwa, who's playing on the goal line, which, yeah, as soon as I say, he's going to be punished by the pendulum swing from Wallaby Gangsta. Now, 7 seconds as we get into this overtime. It needs to be saved away, but it's a little too claustrophobic, a little too tight, and Mystic and Wallaby Gangsta able to shove it past Aerial Snack for 2 points on the set.
Yeah, and I want to shout out Wallaby. I think something he's good at doing as a player consistently is punishing people for standing on edge. And we're seeing it this game. He's getting a lot of valuable KOs.
Yeah, and
Like that
oh my
one.
gosh, yeah, again, yeah, just one person caught standing a few pixels too close to the sidelines, and Wallaby is there to punish, showing a little bit of the Juliet, brawler blood, but as I say that, it's going to be Mystic the one actually making the nice little plays on Rune as he closes out the set.
Yeah, I really think Kachao found their groove, and it gets really hard for Era once Rune gets more CDs to deal with him, because even though she has Shrink, fillers kind of spawn regardless.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing Orb Dancer in this rotation, which hopefully gets denied from the Drakkar.
Yeah, definitely would like to see it. We did see that, we didn't see the orb pick up earlier, actually. I was confusing, I believe, the last game. But we are going to see it denied away. The extra special also coming out for the Dubu. But that being said, that Timeless does fall down to Mystic. So I believe with Perfect Form and Timeless, this Rune is going to be such a pain to deal with coming to this next set here.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. You couldn't really deny Rune everything he wanted. I do think you could argue that denying the Timeless was worth it there. Importantly, because Mod 2 denied Orb Dancer from Megaverse was incentivized to deny Castellas from Era, which is a really funny little draft mechanic.
Yeah, and not having that Castellas, I think, will be really, really important. I mean, that Shrink onto the forward Rasmus, who really, really loves that size, can be a bit annoying, as we're going to see the ball bounce around a little bit inside that Tofu Fortress, but for now, it's going to be Mystic and Wallaby again on the offensive. Good strike or wins means that second goalie barrier will go down. Mystic now with the flip, trying to find possession. Going to send a pass over to Wallaby, who almost puts it in by dribbling it with a pendulum swing, but it's good Summer Assault is going to keep the core away. Flip comes out from Mystic, stealing it away from his own fellow forward and sinking in the goal, telling Wallaby, nah, I got this one.
A clean play on that last barrier. You saw Mystic was in the position to win the strike war against Aerial Snack, and then Wallaby won the strike war against Wadi Wawa. They're really working together well.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh no, a bit of an unfortunate start means that a double barrier will go down for Wadiwa, but Aerial Snack is there at least to help his goalie. One goalie barrier goes down for the side of Megaverse, but he should... Oh, a nice little patience here actually allows him to clear down, but interesting use of Banish and Pillars from Mystic. I don't know if there's too much value. I might be missing something here, but the flip does come out from Wadiwa, but it's actually blocked away immediately from Mystic, who just reads him like a book, which allows Wallaby to get an all-too-easy goal for the side of Kachao.
Mystic was replicating Megaverse there for the battery rune play, where you just kind of banish it in the corner with PF and get all your cooldowns back.
That makes sense, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's something you could do, especially, I mean, here, it might be a little bit of fun, but I think as well the actual effects of that is you get a ton of experience, so even if you are losing this draft, you'll be first up to get potentially your Bisses coming into it, but it looks like Mystic will be trying to get the combo off. Unfortunately, nothing found so far, and well, almost Megaverse paid for it with his goalie life, and actually there it is, Aerial Snack punishing the missed combo from Mystic with a nice little flip, able to get it in the bottom side of the corner, and that's 1 point on the board for Omega Legends.
I would like to see Kachao win this set, because if they lose the set, they might lose Orb Rep, and that would suck.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely Mystic playing with fire, but hey, we are no strangers to players flying a little bit too close to the side here in Omega Strikers. But for now, Wallaby's going to find himself actually denied away by Wadiwa. Good strike timing on it. Fortunately, it won't matter, though, as a good secondary from Wallaby will keep the core, or will open up the goalie box for Omega Legends. Now, Megaverse, the one with flip, has it, elects to use it, but it's going to be denied away, as actually he's going to pay for that patience with his life, but Wallaby is there to cover it, and even though it was looking really good for their, for 1 second for Omega Legends, it is going to go to the way of Kachao, who will be qualifying for liftoff from this game.
A good finish by Kachao. I think at the end there, Megaverse went up to try and get the core flip play. Mystic and Wallaby kind of saw it wasn't working and stepped back and were able to clean up the play afterwards. Yeah. Shout out to Ma too, though. A lot of good looks throughout that game, a lot of good back passes to the goalie, and I think Omega Legends is really a team that can still make the losers bracket run and look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, looking at the stats, I mean, 125 redirects, and those redirects in the game on that Dubu was definitely holding it down when it was necessary. Unfortunately, though, Wallaby and Mystic got too many opportunities, and there were so many mix-up as well from the Mystic's rune as well, allowing Wallaby to get, some really, really easy goals going into that. something that was just really, really hard to defend for Wadiwa. So overall, I think, yeah, good play from Omega Legends. Definitely a team that showed up, and honestly, yeah, scored a few goals as well on what I think a lot of people going into this was like, oh, Kerchow has got a clean sweep. It's like not even gonna be close or anything like that. So honestly, like it is what it is. You regain, you make the losers run. Omega Legends is a team that I think still has pretty good mental, can easily recover from a loss. And I mean, looking at the bracket right now, where are they going to be? I believe they're going to be going. Who are they facing? Or I can't find them on the bracket. They're going to be facing. Oh, they're not going to be facing anyone just yet. They're in losers round 3. I was looking for them in losers round 2, but yeah, they're going to have a little bit of time. They're going to have to face. They're going to have a little bit of time to rest, regain, get a snack, get their mental back, and make I believe 1 or 2 more wins away from qualifying for Liftoff in another direction.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how their run pans out, and I'm also very excited to see the next game that we have to cast.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry.
I believe it's going to be Doggo Dog versus LP Thieves. I think that was the update. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Doggo.dog is a really fun team that I'll wait to talk about because first LP Thieves. They're the NASA team from last season. Have Winter Freezer, Death Gun, and Find Mucked. A team of players who traditionally are best on 1 or 2 specific characters, but I think throughout the NASA season and in their recent tournament performances, you can see that they're learning more characters. Find Mucked is a threat off of Aimee. He has a Drakkar, which unfortunately isn't as strong in this map rotation, but is still a solid pick, especially on Night Market.
Yeah, and I think that they were really close to qualifying last time, obviously getting a bye because they were the previous NASA team defending their position here, but
I think they went to set 5.5.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. Against I believe what was it, Hippo Just Coin and what was their goalie's name?
Zoro.
Zoro, yeah, Zoro.
Slew Striker's fame.
Yeah, Slew Striker, yeah, Slew plus Zoro. So yeah, and that was a team as well that a lot of people were predicting we're gonna make it into Liftoff. We're gonna make a winter side run. So I think that in terms of what's left here in Launchpad 2, that Winter Freezer again have a really, really good opportunity here. But enough about Winter Freezer and the gang. Let's go over to Doggo Dog. You want to talk about them? What's going on with them?
All right, so they're a really cool team. These guys all come from platform fighters, a lot of them from Project M. I believe Stango might not be playing today, but if he is, he's 4th ranked in Project M nationally, I believe. Pretty interesting team. They're all Sloopin's an Omega player who I think he flexes between midfield and goalie, and I think he's actually a really solid midfielder. I'm pretty sure he is midfielding for this team because their next player, Big Keef, is a goalie player who mains Atlas, has a Kai, and I think has another pick or two. But he's another really fun player to watch because when I watch him play, he ends up walking up a lot. He tries to play really aggressive, doesn't always succeed, but when he does, it's really hype to see him play.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And we saw a little bit, I think, of that midfield aggressive goalie positioning from Ripstick earlier today in this tournament, and that was super fun to watch. So always exciting to see another goalie that plays like that. And like you said, it creates a lot of really exciting moments. A lot of moments where you get to see some really, really sick plays. A lot of sick things happening. So I'm excited to see this. If this is another set 5.5, I think we'll be exhausted at the end of it. We'll still have one more game after that as well, but I'm excited. I'm now a little bit.
Yeah,
got me hyped up for this.
This is a game that can actually go set 5.5 for sure. I would not be surprised at all. And Stango actually is coming off the back of a performance in a game called NASB 2 at Slimebox, where he went last game to make it into top 8. He ended up losing that one, but he also is a Grand McGurty main, and that character is not that good compared to the one he was playing against. So excited to see his performance here.
Yeah, and we are going to see an Estelle ban actually taken away immediately from the midfielder. We are going to see that Aimee ban, the respect going over to FindMuck, recognizing that, even though he has an expanded champion pool since the start of the last season of NASA, that it is probably still his best character by a significant amount, but FindMuck is comfortable in the Kai, and it's what he pulled out as well, I believe, in that last game against Zoro and the Bunch as well. So not something that also on the same map as well, I believe that game was also playing at Atlas Lab. So hey, a little bit of deja vu here for the side of LP Thieves, as yeah, it's actually a repeat of the comp. So
Oh.
they're if nothing else, they're comfortable.
Yeah, and over on Doggo.dog, they're pulling out the Rasmus midfield, which I think a lot of people have different opinions on. And oh, it's actually Sloopin is playing his third role forward, which I've never seen him on. Stingo's not in this. I don't have any lore on Boykish, I'll be honest, but I'm really excited to see how this game ends up going.
Yeah, and we are going to see a heavy impact start actually coming out. Alongside, of course, the spark of agility, which I think that heavy impact usually is always an indicator that a game's going to be a bloodbath, but we actually only see 3 out of the 6 players pick it up. Obviously, it's not going to be super great on that Atlas, on that Kai, who would probably prefer to have that little bit of extra move speed, but nonetheless, we might still see a lot of interesting KO plays coming out. But actually, I really want to talk about Kai and X as a forward duo, as I feel like there's a little bit of a synergy issue going on with the kits, but I'm not entirely sure. What are your thoughts on that?
I can kind of see it working. So like that dash goal by Death Gun, right? Like imagine if there was a barrage there. Kind of hard to defend. But
Yeah.
I definitely think Kai doesn't provide as much damage as other forwards you would want to traditionally play with X do, and they don't have like a ranged goalie who also provides damage. So it is definitely a weird comp and one where I'm not really sure what their goal is, but they can still make things work. And good KO there by Sloopin.
Yeah, and Sloopin will be not rewarded as Fine Muck actually gets a nice little strike or win, which means they get a little bit of a reverse power play. A good strike shot from Sloopin won't mean, or from Winter Freezer won't mean anything, as unfortunately the last goalie barrier does go down. Sloopin with the flip, but Death Gun is doing a little bit of damage pressure, which means the Celestial Intervention will come out to preserve that core flip evade, but now Fine Muck finds himself in an aggressive opportunity, has the barrage, has the cooldowns, able to grab it, but he might pay for that with his life. No, Winter Freezer is there with a Celestial Intervention of his own, as now bottom clear on the bottom side means that Fine Muck and Death Gun have another opportunity in Atlas. The slow move speed, even with the spark of agility, probably making the difference there in that play, will barely keep this core alive. And again, as we get into overtime, Sloopin will be fighting for his life, fighting to preserve that core flip, and Death Gun has one of his own. The barrage barely misses from Fine Muck, which means Sloopin has one more opportunity, maybe. The Giga Blast not going to find the target that Fine Muck wants, but a dribble play means he's one more shot, not going to find anything. And Sloopin finally gets his hand on the core, and he will get that goal, tying up the game. And after such an arduous struggle the entire point, Sloopin finally gets the goal he wants.
Yeah, shout out to Sloopin. He stayed alive while fully staggered with Flip, and he also is falling back a lot and making up for like the lack of midfielding Rasmus can do sometimes. I think we're really seeing the versatility of Sloopin here. He plays every single role in the game apparently, and is having a standout performance so far.
Yeah, and we are seeing him positioning for a dash punch if he can get the core again, but he's going to be rotated a little back. Fine Muck, unfortunately, taking a little bit of space away from him, but it's going to be Bookish now, the one on the aggressive, has the flip, but pass down to Sloopin means that there is an opportunity. A good strike or win from Sloopin means that that second goalie barrier will go down for the side of LP Thieves. Bookish not going to have a dribbling opportunity, stealing away from him by that strike shot, but he'll find himself in front of the net with flip anyways. Fortunately, going to get cleared away, doesn't react just quite yet, but Death Gun now going to be the one to try to get it through Big Geep. Defensive flip does come out, so does that Cosmic Expanse, and now Fine Muck and Winter Freezer are the ones bunkering up, trying to prevent this aggressive play from Sloopin and Bookish, who's playing so patient with this flip, but maybe a little bit too patient, as now we have an open net for both teams. No! As soon as I say it, I'm proven immediately wrong, as Bookish finds himself in the perfect spot to get a goal in with that flip.
Yeah, great setup. That's basically right where you want to use a flip in a lot of situations, because you can literally hit it anywhere and probably get it in. And good pass off the bumper by Sloopin to get it there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're seeing some really nice strike shot usage from Winter Freezer, preventing the dribble, but unfortunately it's not meeting all too much, as the side of a Doggo Dog is able to find core possession basically immediately, and now defensive flip comes out from Fine Muck, able to make it an offensive flip as he is able to get that second goalie barrier. Barrage, unfortunately, not able to get that core possession that Winter Freezer and crew desperately want, that LP Thieves really want, and Boykish now uses the Rasmus secondary to win the midfield interaction. Now Death Touch comes out. There are no cooldowns up for this midfield Rasmus, which means that they should be able to march the court downfield a little bit, and Deathgun able to dodge a dash punch from the Juliet, has his flip, and he's actually going to time it perfectly to get it through the Cosmic Expanse. Oh, and the strike reset too, but it's defended away by Big Geep, absolutely coming in clutch. But that play will mean that Sloopin's going to be sent off the net, and an excellent passing play between the two LP Thieves forwards means that it's going to be tied up on the set.
Yeah, I've been singing the praises of Big Dog, Doggo.dog this entire time, but FindMuck had an amazing pass there, getting it around the Atlas primary and back to his forward to sink in the goal. That was really impressive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do against the Atlas. Make sure that he's always questioning where he places his cooldowns. If he wastes one cooldown, that's such a big thing for Atlas. Of course, kind of the Cosmic Expanse being such a huge tool in defending away from things like the X. But for now, we are going to see the goalie barriers tied up for both teams on this final point in the set. FindMuck and Deathgun now find themselves in the offensive, but it's cleared away by the Astral Projection. Sloopin not going to find the KO. Dash punch, pass from Deathgun up to FindMuck, not going to find anything either as the Celestial Intervention comes out from Doggo Dog. FindMuck able to win a critical strike war, which means we have an open net finally to the side of Doggo Dog, and now Bookish able to get it through, able to win that midfield interaction, but Deathgun is there, putting on so much KO pressure onto Sloopin, which is, he's going to spend a few critical seconds here in the KO box. Now Big Geep though dribbling to keep it away. We now have Bookish the one on the defensive here, but FindMuck able to get it past with a barrage, but it's defended away again by Big Geep. Now Deathgun, a one more opportunity. He's one or two redirects away from getting a flip himself. FindMuck as well also has half a bar of energy, but Bookish here. Oh, Sloopin almost finding a KO. It's going to burn that defensive flip away from Winter Freezer, which means that now, finally, the opportunity for Doggo Dog is here, especially now that Deathgun has whipped his flip. Now, trying to find any sort of offensive pressure here with the X Maximus, not going to find anything so far, as now Boykish does have flip, elects not to use it. But, oh, and that might cost him. No, Big Geep able to save it with a flip of his own. Gigablast almost finds it, but Deathgun is there to find it again. Gonna get pulled off the map for his troubles though, as now Sloopin has an opportunity, not gonna find it. FindMuck trying his best to stall. Excellent passing plays between the two remaining members of LP Thieves, but the pressure is on. Boykish finally rewarded for holding that core flip, which means he has it here for the scoring opportunity. Sloopin trying so desperately to get it to him, but Deathgun is there to cover. And now one more opportunity. Oh my gosh! Threads the needle on that strike, and now Boykish with a flip, looking a little bit goofy. The first set is going to go over to the side of LP Thieves.
Boykish might be the most patient player in Omega Strikers. That was insane. And
yeah,
the Twin Drive going over to Blue Team Atlas is really big, but Red Team Atlas can get free orb rep here, and that'll set them into a spot to get orbs and win the game. I actually think I would go orb rep here on the Atlas over Twin Drive, I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. You think, I mean, you are a previous member of Chikara Chatting with Evil Drew Danger, so you do have that history, but no, explain it. Explain your thoughts on the current state of orbs. I know that a lot of people definitely think that they're super duper strong, can be game ending if you get that replicator plus another orb trading going into this kind of next set. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's set 2. Orb rep is up. I feel like if both orb tradings are up and you're a goalie player, you just take the orbs, and then someone has to deny you orbs later on, and they're probably not going to want it as much as you want something else. So, like, it's like really, it just sets you up in a position to win the game. Especially if you won the first set and you have, like, the set of, what's the word?
Like the comfort set. Yeah, the comfort set. You could lose one to get that draft. Yeah, definitely. And we are going to see, though, that the orb rep not putting in too much work without that secondary Dancer or Ponderer to back it up, which means that Big Geep is going to have an open net here. Back pass from FindMuck to Winter Freezer, trying to find Deathgun core possession, but nothing's going to be found for now. And Big Geep with a very tight angle. The back clear got me so scared for a second, but it was cleared away, but unfortunately it comes right back, and Deathgun is able to grab himself one goal here on the second set.
Yeah, those are the types of like creative, confident clears that I've seen Big Geep do in solo queue a lot, and I like seeing from him. I feel like he's one of those players who is either like on fire or very cold, and so far it's been kind of like a mix this game.
Yeah, we have seen, unfortunately, giving up a few goalie barriers like the bottom side one this point, but the flip is going to come out defensively, allowing Sloopin to get a dash punch and a double barrier now against Winter Freezer. Now Winter Freezer forced to blow that defensive flip as Black Hole is popped. We have an open map here. Does favor that Kai a little bit, but it won't matter right now as Winter Freezer is forced to burn that Cosmic Expanse. Death Touch comes out trying to regain core control, but it's not going to be found against Feinmuck. Now Deathgun dribbling it in, trying to find an opportunity. Giga comes out from Feinmuck, but it's not going to be found just quite yet. Now Boykish going to be low, has to blow that flip defensively before Deathgun gets to him, and now he's going to be staggered, forced to retreat and lick his wounds a little bit as Deathgun now trying to find the KO. He eventually finds it. Big Eep though, able to hold, and Sloopin barely able to intercept that with a nice little punch from the Juliet, but Feinmuck and Deathgun are a few redirects away from their flip. Only one goalie barrier is left, but it's going to be held for now by Big Eep and crew, as now Boykish is on the offensive. An excellent Death Touch as well, sniping the core away from Feinmuck and finding that perfect angle against Winter Freezer, able to tie up the set.
Yeah, and you could see Sloopin's triple life as a goalie in midfield also really coming in clutch there.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding so many critical interceptions, able to buy crucial seconds against LP Thieves. But right now we're going to see that double flip I talked about in the last point coming out here, as now it's an immediate open goal 10 seconds in. Winter Freezer, unfortunately, with a whiff strike shot, is going to give one goalie barrier up of his own, but now Deathgun has that stuffing opportunity. Cosmic Expanse is gone. One more setup might be it if they could get it up in the next 10 seconds. Now Black Hole's popped. It's an open map. Feinmuck can receive a passing play, but Sloopin and Boykish hold strong. Now Big Geep finally has to get one defensive strike away, but it's going to come right back. Now Sloopin with the flip as well for this final goalie barrier or the goal, should he choose to save it. But as I say that, he is going to elect to use it, not find anything for the troubles either, as now Sloopin and Deathgun brawling it out in the middle of the field. Deathgun the clear victor here as Sloopin barely limps away, and whoa! What a crazy Giga Blast, setting up a perfect demon angle against the two defensive members of Doggo Dog.
Yeah, I've noticed Feinmuck really likes going for those highlight reel Gigas, and he gets them a lot of the time, so he should keep on doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are LP Thieves right now, you're going against the team that I think, we were talking about is evenly matched against you. You are against the Atlas as well. You're going to need to find some really, really creative offensive plays here to blow those cooldowns from the Atlas, to sneak it by the kind of defensive wall that Atlas can be. And for now going in, we are 1 point away from LP Thieves getting a very, very critical set win here, meaning that there won't be any comfort sets for the orb kind of scaling from Big Geep to come in. But for now, Feinmuck and Deathgun not able to find anything. Big Geep holding strong on the iron wall. Celestial Intervention does come out from Deathgun, but unfortunately not going to find the strike he wants, which means Sloopin is set up for a nice little dash punch to take the first goalie barrier. But no, it comes right back, and now Deathgun's in a perfect position to set LP Thieves up, but it's barely defended away from Big Geep. Like, last second pixel perfect save is coming out, but he's now going to pay for that with a nice little stagger bar. Now Deathgun, one more rotation means that Big Geep will probably be sent off the map here and forced to blow that evade. Big Geep is now feeling so claustrophobic with only one enemy member in the net, is forced to blow all those expanse cooldowns early, which means that things are looking really, really good for the side of LP Thieves here. If Deathgun could win a few strike where it only takes one to get it in, but for now Feinmuck might be the one who actually is going to be making the play. The Giga Blast not able to find anything, but he's only one or two redirects away from getting that critical flip. Isn't able to find it as it's passed away by Sloopin and Boykish. Now Winter Freezer forced to blow that Celestial Expanse. The flip comes out from Feinmuck, and it's a perfect angle! Big Geep not able to save it with a Cosmic Expanse, and now LP Thieves find themselves up 2-0 against Doggo Dogs on the qualification match.
Yeah, and I think Feinmuck is really popping off this set. We see that he has stacks now, and I think it's really hard for Rasmus to play midfield normally, and it's even harder into a Kai with stacks. And Blue Team Atlas taking the Orb Ponder from Red Team's Orb Rep. So the Orb Rep does not manage to get value here, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, and things are looking really, really grim from the looks of this draft. I mean, it looks like Knife's Edge does come out, and the Spark of Resilience mainly for that Kai. I mean, even though he isn't... Oh, he does have another Spark, but that 2-Spark of Resilience means that killing Feinmuck, KO, sending him to that KO box for big power plays isn't really an option unless Sloopin finds a really good dash punch, which honestly he hasn't been finding too much of this game.
Yeah, this is looking really hard for Doggo to come back from. They already don't really have like a real midfielder. Rasmus is like a jack of all trades kind of character at best here. And it's just really hard. Like, you see the Juliet having to walk back and stand in positions where she doesn't really want to because she can't get guaranteed value from her dash punch to make up for this like lack of midfielding that Rasmus provides. And I know Sloopin plays characters that aren't forwards, so I would have liked to see him pick an actual midfielder here, probably.
Yeah, that's going to be unfortunate, and this is a disadvantaged state for the side of Doggo Dog as Finemuck. Yeah, look at them. He's basically gliding right now. No Orb Dancer, but he's looking groovy right now with these dribble plays as Winter Freezer is able to have to play defense, or must play defensively here for a little bit, but it's cleared away no problem with the assistance of his forwards, which means that they're going to get that open net that they so want. But unfortunately, Death Gun is going to give him a little bit of a freebie. He wants God to give him a little bit of a stronger battle here right now as Finemuck trying to win the interaction against Sloopin, but right now Sloopin's going to try to get it down the field with his flip, not able to find anything again as Finemuck again, that Kai is so much pressure here in the midfield, able to set Death Gun up as well, allowing him to use all those cooldowns where he pleases, but it's not going to matter as Boykish actually able to win that 1v1 against Winter Freezer and get 1 point on the board for Doggo Dog.
Yeah, good score, and if Doggo Dog gets 2 more points like that, they still have Warp Rep. They can still get Orb Dancer.
Yeah, things
can happen.
This is a critical set. I mean, it's a critical set for obvious reasons, one, but it's doubly so when you have that Orb Replicator on your goalie. But if Finemuck and Death Gun find the opportunities that they've been finding so far this game, it's going to be looking real bad for the side of Doggo Dog. And there it is. Open net again for the side of Doggo Dog, though they are going to maybe find one in return. There it is, but Sloopin's now staggered with only one thing at dodge remaining, but some critical striker wins from Boykish means that the tempo of the play still goes, but it's eventually going to get cleared away. But it goes right back to Winter Freezer, who unfortunately misjudges that bounce. He is going to give up one goalie barrier, and now Boykish has the opportunity to score, but not going to find it. Now Finemuck with a Giga Blast trying to find anything, and it's barely saved away. All the cooldowns blown from Big Geep, though. Death Gun trying to play this midfield a little bit to cover for Finemuck's aggression, but that's going to be fine for now. Now we do have an open net with Black Hole popped up. Death Gun is going to have to be saved by Winter Freezer Celestial Intervention. We are going into overtime here. Now Boykish trying to find anything. The Pendulum Swing not going to find core possession that he wants, and now Sloopin's going to be sent off the map for 12 seconds, and that makes it all too easy for Finemuck. One critical strike war win is all it takes, and now Finemuck finds LP Thieves tied up on the set.
Yeah, Finemuck is fully stacked on his stacks on stacks now, and it's going to be extremely hard for Red Side to get the core past him, especially when Winter Freezer is about to come up on 10 Orb Ponderer stack. They're hitting their power spikes on LP Thieves, and this set looks really scary now.
Yeah, and again, 2 points away for LP Thieves to get their qualification that they were denied last Launchpad 2 weeks ago. Death Gun again, flip comes out, patiently waits out that Cosmic Expanse, but the pass to Finemuck is intercepted smartly by the two forwards of Doggo Dog. Now Sloopin finds himself with maybe a scoring opportunity, has the dash punch, but no, he's going to be punished for that tight positioning with a Giga Blast from Finemuck. Flip comes out, and Big Geep can only watch as the chances of qualification slip farther and farther away as LP Thieves look like they're running away with this game.
Yeah, it's definitely really scary right now for Doggo Dog, and we basically just want to see them able to pick up a random KO here. Specifically on Finemuck, who has no evade.
Yeah, and if you're looking for that KO, it's going to be hard. Of course, that double spark of resilience is going to make it so that you can't just stagger him out, but Boykish for now is going to use his flip, but it's going to be defended away from LP Thieves, and just like that, the momentum from Doggo Dog looks like it's just crumbling. Sloopin not able to find any opportunities to dash punch, not able to find anything, and no, Big Geep's going to whiff his flip, which means we are going to have an open net. Now, LP Thieves 1 point away. If they could keep calm, if they could keep going, doing what they're doing, it's going to be curtains for the side of Doggo Dog, and one critical strike or win means that it's going to be claustrophobic, but Sloopin is there. Flame Flare going to find a little bit of space for his team, but it's going to come right back. Now Big Geep forced to make another clear again. Finemuck again winning another strike or win, and the Cosmic Expanse is now gone. Sloopin has flip, does not find anything. No dash punch, no flip, and that's going to be curtains for the side of Doggo Dog. Finemuck walking it in, making LP Thieves run not a dream anymore as they once again find themselves qualified for liftoff. Winter Freezer earning himself a nice little MVP for his team as well, and just like that, hey, Winter Freezer, LP Thieves, Winter Freezer, and crew are back. They're back in Liftoff. They've made it through. I think a lot of people were expecting them to find qualification one way or another. And in a game that we were expecting to be really, really close, it looked like LB Thieves showed up. They played really, really well today. I mean, Winter Freezer, 216 redirects, 84 saves, able to hold it down against the aggression of Boykish and Sloopin. And I mean, I've been talking a lot about Winter Freezer, but Feinmock also able to step it up, drawing that Amy ban and still performing as well. And Deathgun, of course, I believe on his signature character X at this point, able to pull it out, perform when it was needed, able to get 5 goal participation in that game. And yeah, all around excellent play from the side of LP Thieves.
Yeah, I think for Doggo.Dog, I really feel like it was a comp issue. I feel like Rasmus midfield, especially if there's no training for it, that like makes you want to pick it. It's just not as good as the other like good midfielders on the patch, especially something like Kai that has a lot of like hitboxes. Rasmus doesn't have the ability to like just spit like a bunch of barrages out of nowhere and like swarm you with hitboxes and get the puck past you. So especially once Feinmuck got stacks, and every set you saw once they got stacked, the set just was over really fast. For Doggo.Dog to make their losers run, I hope that if they do want to put Boykish on Rasmus, they just stick Sloopin on his Era, or like I know he has an Estelle that was banned that game, but Era would have been a great pick there, and stuff like that is what I want to see Doggo.Dog adjust to make it out of Launchpad 2 and into Liftoff.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, like you mentioned that, yeah, it definitely looked like Feinmuck was able to run away, especially like in the last set, definitely as well, putting up so much pressure. Even I believe, basically scoring enough goals to out goal his forward player as well. And when you are that Alice in the open goal against someone like the Kai who could hit you from like a lot of really, really unique angles, it's going to be so hard to defend. And that sort of mix up is what got LP Thieves their ticket to Liftoff, got them ready for qualifications for NASL or NASA, wherever they end up. So excellent play from LP Thieves. Excited to see them in the future here in a few weeks. I believe December 1st and 2nd is where we're going to see Liftoff. But for now, that is going to be it from me and Liari. We're going to be transitioning over to a new caster duo to cast, I believe, what's going to be Destroyer Mega Noob versus Reverse Beat. So if you want to see more top level Omega Strikers, see more high stakes gameplay for who qualifies for Liftoff, stay tuned. We aren't going anywhere.
Thank you.
welcome everybody to NASL. Glad to have you. My name is Tech, and today I'm joined here by none other than Lyrica. Lyrica, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, Tech. It's been a lovely day, even though I've slept through part of it. It's been raining here, actually, surprisingly. It doesn't rain very much in my area, so it's nice to have. And we definitely need it for the crops. One of the farming areas of California. Always necessary to have that rain. However, what we're hoping to see here is not a rain on Destroyer Mega Noobs parade, right?
Absolutely. Of course, the two teams we have up here, Destroyer Mega Noob versus Reverse Beat. Reverse Beat had to make numerous upsets to get here, so this is actually a really important match for them if they want to keep competing through this bracket here. But looks like we're going to hop into this first map, Atlas Lab, and see what these teams have to cook.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they have cooking up as well. The team of Destroyer Mega Noob, as we know, fields Zales, Javaro, and Comet 4K this time around. As we see the Estelle ban and the Juliet ban coming in here. Not surprised to see the Juliet ban, probably also in response to maybe some of the awakenings that have shown up here as well, Tech.
Oh, absolutely. Excited to see what those are in a little bit. Looks like we will see the double Atlas goalie. You know, Atlas Lab, home court advantage. You got to pick Atlas if you're playing here. And it looks like the side of Reverse Beat, I believe, is going to be playing a little bit more of a damage composition there.
Possibly. It's hard to tell, honestly, right? Because we have both the Era and the Asher on one side. Not exactly what you would hope for in terms of a damage composition, but also with the Kai on Lolamal XTDD with a Vice, not exactly also great for damage either, even though the Vice usually picked up for that damage pick in general. So I'm interested to see how these teams are going to try and take advantage of both the strengths and weaknesses they have.
Yeah, and there's a KO right away as we were talking about which one are damage comps or not. Looks like the two starting awakenings were Quick Strike and Prime Time, which is kind of insane, especially for Lolamal XD here with that Kai. You know, Prime Time and Quick Strike, both incredible awakenings for him.
Yeah, and I have to wonder how Jadinsky's going to use this Vice here with possibly the Primetime start, or having that ability to kind of get Primetime ability shoved into their face against a Vice. But they're proving me wrong here, as Lolamal XDD and Jadinsky able to still take an advantage here, despite Jadinsky being the first one to fall in this match.
Yeah, the side of Destroyer Mega Noob losing both their barriers. Jadinsky trying to, teleport forward and get that core into the net as much as they can. And it's going to be difficult to win some of the strike wars as these goalies, they're both on prime time. They have to rely on their abilities. And there we go. Second barrier dropped on the side of Reverse Speed. And now things get a little bit scary when you have that Era speeding up those teammates. But oh no, the gravity well in the middle of the map, the core just going right past Javaro. And there's a pretty easy goal for Reverse Speed.
Yeah, just a slight misposition there on the side of Destroyer Mega Noob, not able to quite grasp that slight curvature of the middle there, just costing them a goal, unfortunately. But not one goal is just one goal, and they have plenty of opportunities to make it up as the game continues. As Alilula, unfortunately, despite flipping, loses the barrier there.
Yeah, nice attempt. He manages to save the second, but the first one is going to be gone. And look at that, Zale just trying to stay alive. There we go. The barrier will go down, and there's the core flip out to take the second one from Lolamal, and there's one more player off the map at they lose the barrier for it though, so not maybe the best trade, but oh, a nice core flip save there from Javaro to keep them in this power play right now.
Yeah, I think Lolamal actually struck their own barrier there, and now Lalilutila having to defend with their life, basically. No core flips on the side of Reverse Beat now, and a lot less pressure coming out from the side of them as well. So Destroyer Mega Noob in a nice position, despite being down the player initially, to make this goal here. But we see a pass to Lolamal XTD, dribbling off the wall, shooting down to the bottom of Jadinsky, not able to follow up. Lalilula having to burn the flip to save it there. And now with the dribble down and the pressure relieved away from Zale, but Zale using the flip to keep the pressure going, unable to capitalize though. And Comet 4K Oh, actually wasn't able to strike there despite the primary, but the passing play on the side of Destroyer Mega Noob able to get it around Lalilula.
Yeah, Lula not able to get there quick enough to save that little bounce off the bottom. Good awareness too from the side of Destroyer Mega Noob, just knowing I don't have to shoot it on net, I can just bounce it off the very bottom corner. And I think one thing this match is going to come down to is speed. You know, we see almost every forward running slick kick. So every time they strike the core with that quick strike, they'll be moving just that much faster. And look at the speed coming out right now. You can see how overwhelming it is, and the barrier is just going down so quickly on either side.
Yeah, I think that speed, as you said, is going to play a big factor, right? The era speed buffs affect the entire party, whereas Lola Mal XTD's Kai is only really going to be able to speed themselves up, and Vice, not really the most mobile character in the game, might feel like they're falling a bit behind as the game continues. But a Giga into the combo of the center is able to get the KO onto Zale's era, and now it's a double power play from Lola Mal XTD. As Jadinsky almost puts it in, Javaro having to burn flip to make sure that doesn't go in. And a nice stall from Javaro also makes sure that Zale can come back, and now the double power play is over. And they create their own power play situation on accident as the Vice walks into the center.
Yeah, not where you want to be if you're reverse beat, and now it's Javaro and Lola Mao in a 1 versus 1, but that prime time being so effective, that second primary able to lock down the net, and Lula barely managing to save that one. The last second strike coming out from them. Javaro looking to avoid the barrage, has to try to keep it alive, and Lula has to keep their barrier alive for as long as possible if they want to continue winning the set here. Here we go. No power play yet.
Yeah, Lula holding this barrier for dear life and just barely losing it there from Comet 4K's great strike, but Lola Mal XTD just catches the bad clear from Javaro and ends up hitting it into the top corner there. Now going up 2-1 in the set. It's been quite a slow Atlas game, honestly, Tech. What do you think?
100%. And I think one of those reasons is just because of the lack of kill comps that we're really seeing these two teams happen. And honestly, just the defensive prowess coming out from both Javaro and Lula. We see so many times there's a power play, and these Atlases are able to just lock it down with prime time being one of the starting awakenings, of course. And I think that's really what's prolonging this game.
Yeah, and I think that both the power and the flaw of Vice is coming out in this game. Able to gain the KO advantage in a lot of scenarios, but unable to score in a lot of scenarios that maybe a more standard score or brawler pick might have been able to. But they're able to make it work, able to get it around Javaro, not able to keep all the cooldowns running. And now Jasinski with flip. Whoa, but Lola Mal XTD just hits a beautiful Giga Blast for the score there, saying, you know what, Jasinski, you can save that core flip for next set.
Save it for next set. They will try. But going into the Awakening draft, is there anything you see that is pretty important here for these players? I mean, we do see 3, 4, 5 actually speed awakenings on the board, which I think is going to be a pretty big deal. We see, of course, Kai picking up that Orb Dancer as expected. You know, one of the ones that was reintroduced in the last few micro patches back into the game. And I think that's going to be big considering how few KOs have been coming out this entire game.
Yeah, it's real interesting because there's just kind of speed across the board there for pretty much everyone. And with Fighter and Flight being denied there, kind of denying the ability for the midfield to kind of take over even further from the side of Destroyer Mega Noob, as wow, they just kind of bully the entirety of Reverse Beat into that goal there, showing the power of the Era Asher combination and using the speed, using the size, and the teamwork to just get it around all three. Almost like nothing.
Nothing indeed. And when we talk about, you know, these teams creating offensive pressure, Javaro is doing such a good job with that strike shot to just make sure to keep it on the side of Reverse Beat's half. And here we go, some nice little strikes there, trying to get it away from Lola Mao as he's stuck in the corner with that Maelstrom and leaving Comet and Lula to be in a 1v1. And there we go, there's the second barrier down for Destroyer Mega Noob. Javaro has to try to hold it down against this Vice secondary. They will get one barrier. Comet does have the core flip. Looks like they want to use it here, but there comes the barrage to help out defensively. This double goalie setup is so hard to get it past. And Javaro is trying his best with the little speed he has to pass it up to these forwards.
Yeah, Jasinski is using the Vice abilities decently well to keep the pressure going on the side of Reverse Beat, but unfortunately, just the team of Destroyer Mega Noob is able to just clear it out each time and work around this Vice that's having trouble keeping up with the speed of Era. And a great passing play almost gets in, but Javaro with a great strike shot clears it out from there, and now it's Destroyer Mega Noob's turn. How are they able to answer back?
Passing is the answer with that. You can see them, but the power cord will send it into the back of the net. I will say one of these things, Reverse Beat is doing such a good job at passing it out of their own half defensively. We see Lolamau XD and Jadinsky sort of playing that further back role, just making sure that they're able to clear it on the other side when they do catch Destroyer Mega Noob's forwards. You know, trying to pass each other, trying to make a power play and being stuck in that same lane. And there's a beautiful angle there from Comet. Has to get it forward to Zale, who's in a nice little 1v1, but the strike's not coming out. Javaro passing it directly into that Vice ult, and Comet's core flip immediately blocked away.
What a call out from Lula there, just to say, you know what, you're going to go top, and I'm going to just make sure that I'm there to catch that incredibly fast core flip. And now the Asher is off the board. The Giga almost gets the barrier, but still being able to take advantage of this power play when possible. But Zale saying, no, this is not your power play to take advantage of. And now they're trying to put the damage onto Zale and make sure that this Era does not have the midfield pressure that she needs to overpower the team of Reverse Beat.
Yeah, Javaro somehow holding on for dear life with this one barrier, and casters curse it away. I will. Javaro has to get it away right now. Here comes the flip. Lula looking for the shot, not able to find it. And there we go. Breaks the middle area there, trying to make things a little bit nicer for their forward to be able to pass, but Jadinsky teleports away from the action. Thankfully not punished for it. Is so close to getting the core flip, and there it is. Lolamau looking for the pass. There's the core flip, and the shot blocked away by the Atlas Cosmic Expanse, but Lolamau XD finds the bottom corner of the net there. Another goal in favor of Reverse Beat, and one away from taking their second set.
Just slightly too late on the strike shot from Javaro, and they're able to come up here two points in this set. I think if Reverse Beat are able to take this set, that they have a great chance of grabbing what they need, but unfortunately what they need is a Kai to be alive, and now it's Destroyer Mega Noob's turn to try and take advantage of this power play and make sure that they don't get to take this set for free.
Nice dribble attempt there from Comet, not working out as Jadinsky has something to say about it. Ooh, the barrage almost finding its way through. And there we go. Zale and Comet are moving quick right now. There's the Maelstrom, but not timed well enough. There we go again. The Lolamau XD has so many opportunities up in this top corner, using the barrage, and strikes it through with that quick strike there. And look at this. Reverse Beat is running their way through this tournament against all odds, winning their second set.
Honestly, though, the way they're playing, I'm not honestly that surprised. Like, if you watch Reverse Beat, when it gets back to Lula, you see the Kai come back and cover the cross clear. You see Jadinsky on the Vice make it all the way back and just kind of get in the face of between Era and Asher, cut the pass, and make sure the play can't happen. And now we have, I think this is double orb Atlas now. No, Kai has one of the orbs, but Kai able to get Chrono Boost here means this Kai is going to be able to just outpace this whole game, I think. And with Specialized on the Vice, it's possible that now they can just KO them even better.
Yeah, Specialized training with that extra special is going to be absolutely savage coming out of Jadinsky. And we can see already, look at the stun, just doing as much stun and damage as possible to try to get these barriers down. And speaking of barriers, Destroyer Mega Noob has found two. Oh, and the core rolls in. Oh no. This was not happy about that one. Maybe got distracted by you know, Destroyer Mega Noob's player just exploding off the side of the map, but oh man, you cannot let those in if you're a defender.
Yeah, I mean, that was just very well played from Destroyer Mega Noob, but then Jadinsky getting the KO, and I think Lula just getting a little too comfortable with their strike range and just forgetting to hit it at the proper time, just unable to make it work there. But the power of this Specialized training extra special Vice is really starting to show. This is now 2 KOs that have happened because of the Specialized training from Vice, getting that extra knockback and making these power plays happen. allowing them to get these barriers. So I'm curious to see how this goes, as Jivaro just barely misses the strike there to lose the barrier. But now it's Comet 4K's turn with Zale. Zale pushing up with Jadinsky. Jadinsky using the ult button and denying that play. And a beautiful pass from Jadinsky to Lolamal XDDD and just sends it down. Atlas unable to cover those sideways clears except with Strike Shot.
Absolutely textbook Omega Strikers gameplay there. That is how you want to score. Have someone in the middle, be able to shoot it wherever they want, up and down, and you really have to try to win that mind game. Here we go. Lolamal XD just taking both gates right away. Look at how fast he is with that chrono boost and quick strike. It's so difficult to win anything, and there's the pass to Dadinsky. A nice strike shot, though. We'll keep it out for just a little bit, but Lolamal XD with the angle again, just shooting it right past Jivaro in that bottom corner.
Yeah, just incredibly well played from the forwards here. Reverse beat. Jivaro making incredible saves, but just unable to. Once an Atlas is out of cooldowns, they're just like every other striker in the game. You know, just somebody with a strike only. And since they opted for the prime time and not the quick strikes, they weren't able to save it there. But the middle actually gets a KO now onto Lolamal XTDD, and now it's Destroyer Mega Noob's turn to try and get a goal here and make sure that this match point doesn't go over to the side of Reverse Beat. But stuffed away by Lula.
Oh man, Comet loses his life for that little mistake there. Couldn't find the core flip in time to get right in the middle. And look at this power play now. Lolamal XD with the quick strike, not the person you want in your net. And look at how much damage Zale takes from that ult by Jadinsky. And there's the passing play. Nice strike shot to save things for Lula, but it's still scary for him using both of his abilities. And if Destroyer Mega Noob wants to do something right now, is the opportunity. Lula only has the core flip to try to defend things, but look at how much space Lolamal XD can cover, and look how much pressure he can generate.
Yeah, but Destroyer Mega Noob for now pressuring Lolamal XTDD out and getting the KO, but returning the KO back onto Zale, and now it's a Vice against an Atlas. Difficult for the Vice to score, but I say that in casters Chris Jivaro, and loses the barrier there. Now it's match point for Reverse Beat. Can they push this forward and take this yet another upset, I would say, against Destroyer Mega Noob?
Ooh, nice strike war there. Jivaro running all the way to the back of the net, but this is so hard and impossible if you're Jivaro. Reverse Beat actually taking this game and continuing their run through the bracket.
Just honestly, very well played from the side of Reverse Beat. Very good teamwork, using this kind of odd composition to its strengths, using the Vice to deal the damage and create the space, using the Kai to just cover all the angles, take barriers with Barrage, keep the speed up against the very speedy Era and the Asher, and just able to kind of use their ability to collapse a little slower than maybe a Brawler would, but also able to kind of pressure the Atlas out of their abilities, and eventually Jivaro just runs out of things to save and is unable to save. But also their defense was immaculate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every time Lula came over, every time the core made it to Lula, Jadinsky and Lolamal XTD moved back and made sure that Lula's life was not honestly obliterated by the airship, right?
Yep.
Just be able to keep it away from Zale, keep it away from Comet, and just honestly immaculate defensive play by the team of Reverse Beat. And I think what we saw just now is why they've made this run so far.
Yeah, I mean, if you see Lolamal XD playing Kai like that and Jadinsky playing Vice like that, I'm also not surprised that they have been dominating running through this bracket. I mean, there were so many opportunities where Lolamal XD just had a 1v1 with the goalie. Like, their positioning is so good, their passing is so good, and their defense is super solid when you have Lula in the net with 57 saves and 142 redirects. I mean, even against, you know, the two forwards running that quick strike, which is notoriously something that's difficult to defend against, they did such a good job clearing it and with their positioning and everything. And I'm not too surprised that they took the dub on that one.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this, nobody would have thought Reverse Beat could potentially make this. Known players, but not always known as maybe Launchpad material, but proving everyone wrong today, right, with these wins, with these victories. If you look at this bracket run right now, they are just on an absolute tear, almost looking like the opposite of PPL from last time, right? PPL kind of knocking everyone down a rung as they made their run up, but right now they're in the winner's side of this second launch pad, and really, they've already qualified. Oh yeah, they've already qualified, as Saya has secretly told me in the background. Hint, hint. But yeah, just an incredible run from them, and I'm honestly excited to see how they do at liftoff in, I believe, 2 weeks.
Yeah, that will be a fun series to watch. And, you know, hopefully we can be getting into another series here. There's so many teams playing in this tournament. Destroyer Mega Noob, though, will be kicked down to the losers round 3 bracket. And we have our 4 teams for the winners semifinals. It's actually LP Thieves, RDJ, Reverse Beat, and Kachow, which not sponsored by Lightning McQueen, unfortunately. That would be cool. Can we get a collab like Rocket League? Can we get Lightning McQueen in the game? Maybe.
Excuse me, have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Lightning McQueen? Star of the hit movie Cars and Cars 2? I don't know how the whole copy pasta goes, but somebody can find it and post it and you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not exactly sure who we have coming up here. I'd have to check the bracket, and my computer has decided that that Chrome tab doesn't exist anymore. So if you could maybe fill me in.
We'll take a little break and let your computer heal from opening one Chrome tab. But when we come back, we're gonna have another fun match for you. I'm not sure which one of these teams are finishing up next, but definitely stay tuned, and we will see you in a bit. Well, welcome back, everybody. Of course, I'm Tech, joined today with Lyrica, and we have a very exciting next match here. The two teams, PSI versus Doggo Dog.
Yeah, PSI making yet another awesome run in yet another bracket. Really starting to become kind of Westy Wednesday Warriors, as I think was mentioned earlier today. And really showing that they have been grinding, have been putting in the work it takes to get to this level of play needed to make it into the NASL, or even NASA, if unable to make certain relegations. But still proving that they're able to make this grind. However, they have one more opponent to try and get through right now in the form of Doggo Dog.
Yeah, PSI, a team very near and dear to my heart as a true Westy player. But, you know, maybe if you're somewhere else, you're rooting for Doggo Dog. We will see. And I'm actually really interested to see the bans. I know Marissa is on the team of PSI, and you might not want to let them play Juno, perhaps.
Yeah, Marissa knowers in chat know that you don't want Marissa to be on that Juno. She is kind of a monster on that pick, and allowing that through is just going to really make it a headache for pretty much the entirety of your team if you allow that through. So unfortunately, Marissa usually unable to play the Juno, but we could see something different here depending on what bans come in, depending on what awakenings show up. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Marissa decides to pick up that Pocket Octavia that seems to be kind of plaguing the competitive scene, and saying, okay, well, if you're just going to get rid of my Juno, I'm just going to play this Octavia and make you suffer anyway. So, but we're getting it into it here. The teams have opted for Atlas Lab. I believe this is still a best of one, and again, the winner of this does qualify as we get into the ban phase here, Tech.
Yep, the last time to qualify for NASL Season 3 is decided by this match. You know, this is like do or die if you're either of these teams. And it looks like we see the Estelle and, of course, the Juno ban. RIP, light a candle in chat for Marissa. And I'm hoping we see that Octavia pick. I think it'd be pretty fun. Looks like they might be leaning towards Kai. If you watch that last game that we just had, I think Kai is definitely a good pick. So we'll see if any of these selections are striker specific, perhaps.
Possibly. It's pretty well known that Alter just loves to play that Rasmus, kind of a strike warrior, especially if they're able to get the core in their hands and an open space to work with. Very likely something good is going to be cooked up in that oven. And Tricky, able to get this rune here, I think likely because of the awakening choices, but Tricky generally plays the rune a lot anyway. As we get into it here, Sloopin opting for the Era and the Rasmus versus the Kai and the Rasmus. So kind of similar-ish compositions, but differences in what they want to do as a full twin drive start here. Wow.
Yeah, not even sure what that other awakening would be, but I'm not sure it matters. And you definitely wouldn't want to see a twin drive Juno. I think Marissa would have a field day. But speaking of a field day, look at Sloopin. They are just slamming the core into both of these barriers. Before I can finish talking about the awakenings, there's already a goal on the side of Doggo Dog.
The Era and the Rasmus piece just kind of bulldozering over the rune that doesn't quite have all the awakenings that a rune would want at this point, as well as opting for the Powerhouse Pauldrons to try and get that red core in overtime faster, and thus not having the speed to kind of keep up with this incredibly fast composition. But able to defend the barriers here is the rune. Ooh. And Tricky making some nice saves with the secondary, using that twin drive to their advantage here, and using the primary to kind of stuff out the opportunities, but losing the barrier to the banish timing there.
Yeah, a little bit late. Sloopin does burn that Maelstrom just to try to get in that top corner. If you're Tricky, that is not the place you want the core to be. You want to be anywhere else, just not there. But here we go. Tricky doing a nice job using this secondary on the rune with that twin drive, really securing this gate down as much as they can. And Marissa coming through to help out against Boykish, just dribbling and dribbling to their heart's content. That is one thing Rasmus is good at.
Yeah, but Sloopin with a great Era Tornado there, catching two off guard and forcing both of them to burn energy, and now a huge energy advantage in the form of on the side of Doggo Dog, as they're trying to just kind of make Spooked Alter not have a presence here, staggering them way up in the forward of the field, and now double Yeah, double flip coming out here, but
Ooh.
Tricky just calling it out, saying, nope, get that out of my house. I'm not having any of your core flips today. As Spooked Altar is finally taken off the pitch, but Doggo Dog unable to maintain control right now and unable to make this power play happen. An attempt now with the core flip and the shrink, but Tricky just saying, I don't care about your core flips. I'm just going to strike. I'm just going to use a measly strike. And getting the barrier off the bounce. Spooked Altar almost able to get the goal there, but barely saved away by the primary from Big Geep. And now it's Spooked Altar in a 1v1 scenario, but Marissa, I think, KO there. I'm not even sure by what.
I'm not quite sure either, but this is very scary right now for the side of PSI. They have to lock this down, but Tricky is doing such a good job. I don't know how, but these awakenings and strike timings are all used perfectly. Marissa burning the Giga Blast, trying to predict that pass upwards. So good job from Big Geep to keep it away from them. Here we go. A nice angle. They have this little triangle set up. Marissa trying to pass it, but Sloopin using that speed to get in between the two forwards there, trying to deny any possible passes that might be happening. And doesn't look like this barrier is going to fall anytime soon if Tricky keeps playing like that. But what will fall is the defense of Big Geep as Marissa's Giga Blast just shreds the core into the back of the net.
Yeah, I think that's the second or third time Marissa has called out that up clear with the Giga Blast, and that time rewarded for it. Finally, able to find that up clear away from Big Geep, and even though Big Geep had the lower area to go for, decided to opt for the up clear anyway, and unfortunately was punished in the end. But right now, Tech, it's kind of the Tricky show. This rune pick is just paying absolute dividends, and Tricky, decently well known for their rune on the side of the goalie, is just really showing prowess on this character, along with the Marissa kind of second goalie action that midfielders tend to do nowadays. It's just proving to be such a wall, and Doggo Dog is just unable to find the way through right now.
Yeah, not only is it a wall on defense, but it's a wall on offense. We've seen so many clears being dispelled by that rune unstable anomaly, and is really able to help out Marissa on that top side. Here we see Tricky throwing it into the all of Spook Altar. Almost manages to find it behind Big Geep, and look at the mix up on the timing, and the pass from Tricky allows Spooked Altar to basically get the barrier for free. No one was expecting it to go that quickly. Tricky passing it off his own right click. And now things are scary. If you're on the side of Doggo Dog, you have to try to get this final barrier that Tricky's been doing such a good job of defending alongside Marissa.
Yeah, Marissa winning some crucial strike wars against I can't read this name, Boykish?
Yep.
Yeah, Boykish, allowing Tricky to get those cooldowns back up on Rune. I think, yeah, Tricky not opting for eject button or anything crazy, but Big Geep over here just kind of getting bullied by Marissa and Spooked Altar. I think trying to pass it to Sloop in there, but Marissa just able to win both strike wars and able to just put it right in between the defense of Doggo Dog. And now one more point, and they take the first set here in this game.
Yeah, Core gets caught behind Big Geek's expansion there, and will take their own barrier. But there we go. Look at Spooked Altar just using all of those Rasmus abilities to take that top barrier. And Tricky's doing such a good job with the placement of these teleports. Every single time is seeming completely safe. I mean, look at the core control coming out from this side. Spooked Altar just shoots it into the bottom corner. Not much you can do there, as PSI is going to take their first set and get some much needed awakenings, hopefully, for them.
Yeah, having played PSI a number of times, they are very good at using the curvature of the Atlas Center to not only make passing plays, but make clear angles for the enemy goalie. Kind of a nightmare. They tend to love leaving that up unless they need to get it out from their own goal. And they really love passing, using the curvature of it all. And now, Tricky, rewarded with an Orb Replicator, has a chance to try and get the Orb Zodia, or at least half of it, online. But we have size deny coming out from Marissa now. So no Rasmus size for either Rasmus this time around. But I'm curious to see how both these Rasmus is picking up kind of conditional speed in a way. But Marissa just receives the core in front of two open barriers and gets rewarded with both. Wow, I can't even talk about the awakenings. This game is moving so fast.
No, we cannot. And you know, one thing, Marissa has been winning so many of these strike wars against Boykish. It's actually incredible, and that size is going to help so much. There's the pass up to Spooked Altar. Big Geek having to evade, and look at the strike wars. with this offensive rune play makes it so hard to clear it. You know, if you pass it down, you pass it right into Spooked Altar, and if you pass it up, you throw it into the Rune Unstable Anomaly or into Marissa, who we know has not been losing Strike Wars this matchup.
Yeah, honestly, that was an unfortunate goal for Big Geep too, because that clear before that goal happened was immaculate. Like, waiting out not only Spooked Altar's approach, but also Marissa's barrage at the top, that was actually, frankly, incredible. Timing from Big Geep, and unfortunately just not able to make it happen twice in a row. And now Spooked Altar pushing up, able to get it past Big Geep. This Twin Drive Atlas, generally seen as kind of a wall, right? The Iron Wall or the Iron Fortress or whatever the name is for the defensive Atlas.
Yep.
Generally known for that defensive capability, not really coming into effect right now. As a barrage from Marissa just sinks it in past Big Geep yet again. The pressure from PSI is just near insurmountable at this point, it feels.
Sure is. That Twin Drive, not a big enough wall as Tricky is. I mean, Tricky is using this Twin Drive immaculately, and also these right clicks on the primary, rather, on attack. I mean, look at this. Both the barriers fall so quickly. It's so hard for Atlas to do anything, and Tricky can give up this top barrier as many times as they want, and I feel like the bottom one will never break. And look at this. Again, another goal just due to great movement and passing and that offensive pressure that we keep seeing out of PSI.
Yeah, Marissa and Spooked Altar's synergy has just gotten better and better as this team has continued to play. But now we see the Orb Dancer online, likely going to have to deny it here from the Rune with the Replicator active. But then Rune just gets Timeless Creator or Monumentalist here. Marissa opting for the Chrono Boost, forcing Big Geep to take the Orb Dancer here. Not that Atlas really cares about having to take orbs. And Spec Training opted by Boykish, Spooked Altar. Despite Spooked Altar being the one pressured in the first set, right? Maybe the specialized training can help them put on the KO pressure now for the side of PSI. And if PSI can take not only the speed pressure and the scoring pressure, but also the KO pressure, I mean, they just unlock every win condition in the game at that point.
Yeah, that's going to be big. And speaking of things that are big, did you see the size of that Era Maelstrom with the Monumentalist? That covered like an entire lane. So that is one thing you're going to have to watch out for if you're Tricky. And you might have to play differently when defending.
I don't know, Tech. Maybe I think it's just Pillar in its K when you have a timeless Twin Drive Rune right now. And the wall that Tricky has been able to put up so far has just been near impenetrable, it feels. And so I'm not sure if even the F5 from Sloopin is going to be enough here, as Spooked Altar has just been getting these strike into primaries onto Big Geep, and Big Geep unable to find these clears and make it work.
Yeah, I take back what I said. You're right. I just saw Rune cover the entire barrier with 2 unstable anomalies, so I don't think you're getting it past it anytime soon, but I'm not sure what you do if you're the side of Doggo Dog. Is this just... Well, I guess you do that, actually. You just take the barrier. That's all you have to do, guys, and you just score like that. Beautiful passing play between Sloopin and Boykish. We need to see more of this if they need the chance to come back. I mean, this is the first time we've seen them up in a set in a long time.
Yeah, aside from the very first goal of this game, they have not been able to find their footing against Tricky's Rune. And even right there, in an ideal scenario, only able to capitalize on one barrier. And Tricky just able to make these clears, make these things happen, but finally running out of cooldowns there as Sloopin and Boykish able to just kind of keep it around Marissa right there. I think that's maybe what they need to consider here as their main win condition is just keep it away from Marissa, try and play around the midfield. And I think a lot of this game is going to be decided by the midfield play.
Yeah, nice little core flip into primary combo there from Spooked Altar. Will manage to take that last barrier. And now things are scary for Big Geep. A nice clear, though, but Boykish does have the core flip. If he's able to get a little self-pass into core flip there, that might be helpful. Instead, opts for the back pass potentially. And look at this midfield pressure coming out from Marissa. That size helping cut off these passes so much as Sloopin throws out the GG, if that's any warning of what's to come.
Yeah, the accidental late game VM. Oh, Tricky catches the flip there from Boykish though. And now it's PSI's turn to try and make this happen. Marissa coming up on a flip soon, but Spooked Altar's staggered and now KO'd. It's very difficult, very difficult. And Sloopin with the lock rune or straight shot puts it right past Tricky in the bottom corner there. And now they go up 2-0 in this set. If they're able to win this set and deny Tricky that potential orb ponder down the road, I think the orb replicator just becomes one of those kind of like useless, not the useless awakenings, but not a lot of value coming out of that one, right?
Yep, definitely. And there's one barrier going down on both sides, actually. I thought Tricky had that one locked down, but look at the dribbling coming out of Boykish. He has a lot more space to be able and control this core like this comp should be able to. Era doing a good job at slowing people down, making them small, but still struggling to find the angle around these unstable anomalies that are just proving so difficult for Doggo Dog right now.
Yeah, very often teams will try and counter the unstable anomalies by pushing a bit farther forward and trying to stand in the spaces that Rune wants to place them. But I think Boykish and Sloopin are opting to actually just play back off the anomalies and make sure that the core does not get around them despite the anomalies in existence. And Tricky getting caught in the tornado there actually goes down. And now no unstable anomalies is the best unstable anomalies for Doggo Dog. But Marissa and Spooked Altar putting on quite the defensive display here. And now Tricky is back up with those anomalies. And the anomaly actually getting the barrier there. So now it's PSI's turn to try and make a play off this.
Oh man, that was their opportunity. There's the core flip pass from Boykish, with the banish working out in their favor. But now it's so hard to defend if you're Tricky. Somehow manages to save that one up in the top. And Spooked Altar has the core flip, might be able to help out. But look at this offensive pressure from the side of Doggo Dog. There's the core flip, but that twin drive Atlas is... Oh no, I can't even speak. The core just gets shot into the bottom corner. Tricky doesn't have the cooldown up for that one. And look at this, 3-0 in this third set here. Doggo Dog, the comeback is starting now, and this is winnable.
Yeah, I think that was just a kind of change of game plan for the side of Doggo Dog, able to just kind of say, you know what, you can place down your pillars. We're just going to make sure that it never gets past us, despite the pillar being placed. And now Boykish having to deny the Orb Ponder away from the rune is a little unfortunate. Not able to get maybe something else they would have wanted here. But Tricky now actually having to deny the Quick Strike away from Sloopin. But now Sloopin able to pick up the prime time. So a lot of people kind of getting the bits that they wanted, regardless of the denies. And Marissa just having to opt out for that Spark of Agility. May be able to spark if they lose the set, but I don't think they want to lose any sets right now.
No, they don't, and they don't look like they're going to be losing any more soon. There we go. There's a nice dribble from Big Geep to keep things out. Marissa's looking to use that barrage, and a little own barrier taken there. It seems okay as they're just trying to find this pass forward. Boykish looking for the primary. Not enough to get it past Tricky, though, as these are some pixel perfect saves from Tricky right now. These angles that they're clearing it away make it scary. And you know, one thing with these two comps is core control is so important. And with this era prime time, they can just continually slow the people on offense, which makes it a lot harder to keep control of that core and makes it easier for Big Geep to clear it away.
Yeah, Big Geep also playing a lot more offensive now with the Orb Dancer stacks, being able to just push forward with the momentum boots and make these plays happen, but losing the barrier there. Open goals for both teams. It's now a matter of who can take advantage of whatever speed they might have, as every single character in the game that isn't a goalie has some sort of speed option. Ooh. And Sloopin able to pass it up to Boykish there, as Tricky was kind of being pushed away by the Arenado. And now going up yet again. 4 unanswered goals for the side of Doggo Dog. They're kind of running away with this right now.
Yeah, they've switched up their strategy and they've done something, plus some good awakening drafts. But there we go. There's one barrier down from Marissa with the core flip. Spooked Altar looking to cut it down, and sure does. There's the core flip. But here we go. This offensive pressure mounting once again. You have to get it past that anomaly, and you sure do. There's the core flip, but somehow Tricky is continually able to save these barriers. And there's the double banish and the KO. Marissa with the Giga Blast gets rid of all of the Orb Dancer stacks from Big Geep.
That is such a crucial KO. Like you said, gets rid of the stacks, and now Big Geep won't have the ability to play as far forward and make this kind of offensive pressure come from Atlas. I know that's a weird sense to say offensive pressure from Atlas, but it's what the Orb Dancer can provide. And now with no stacks, they're gonna have a lot harder time. They're gonna have to take time to build up these stacks. But Doggo Dog, Boykish, and Sloopin just making quick work of Tricky's barriers right now, despite Tricky having the quick strike, having the twin drive, and the timeless. I think they've just caught on to the clear angles and have just made Tricky's life kind of hell in terms of trying to get around these pillars.
Yeah, and we've seen Boykish sometimes where it looks like he could have passed, but the rune was easily able to cut off, ends up just throwing it into the rune pillar until it drops down. So it helps out a lot that they can just maintain control. And look at the slows coming out from Sloopin. I mean, really able to make, look how small Spooked Altar gets. I mean, right now he's looking large as he's taking these barriers, but there's so many times where just being tiny makes it that much harder to strike the core.
Yeah, and Spooked Altar, oh wow. The pillar, the unstable anomaly just barely fizzling out at the last second as Boykish, I think, was trying to opt to dribble off of it there. And I don't think anybody knew that pillar, that anomaly was about to go away, not even Tricky. Panic flipping at the last moment and unfortunately scoring on themselves with that anomaly placement. And PSI is looking a little frazzled right now. Their play is not as clean as it was before. And I think Sloopin and Boykish have been taking advantage of this less coordinated PSI offense and defense and just kind of putting on a clinic, it feels.
Yeah, and oh no, the Timeless Creator not doing any favors for Tricky, throwing it up in there into their own net. Boykish credited with that goal. And look at this, we're tied 2-2 in this super important match. And this is all or nothing for these teams. They have to continue if they want to make their way into Launchpad to qualify. But here we go. Interesting draft. Boykish actually does get the Size Awakening, which is going to be big for them, especially when trying to win these strike wars with Marissa or any of the other remaining players on PSI. But are there any other awakenings you see that are pretty important pickups right now?
One thing I find the most interesting is Tricky actually opting for the Cast to Last Deny here against the Era instead of going for the typical Rune Biss of Hotshot. And honestly, I can appreciate that because Primetime Era with Twin Drive is going to be a menace with Castellas, as a great angle gets a double barrier there. The the double barrier not able to be taken advantage of here though. And then they get the bounce around the two. Wow, this is PSI's point to lose, it feels like, with that kind of luck.
Yeah, that was the worst luck. One side both go down, one side core just goes around the world. It doesn't even matter. And oh, that unstable anomaly being broken. Boykish sitting in the right position. And you'll see this time Tricky's barriers are dropping quickly because Boykish is just walking into the unstable anomalies.
But a Giga from Marissa takes out the Era, and now with no speed and no way to slow down this team of PSI, they just kind of put it in. I think really it's the Era making the difference here for the team of Doggo Dog, and getting that KO on such a powerful debuff and buff unit is able to allow PSI to just take over the map, take over the play, and not have to worry about being slow, being small, and being outpaced.
Yeah, that pacing is so important because the faster they are, the longer it takes for those rune barriers to go up and stay up. There's another pixel perfect save from Tricky, who actually gets KO'd by that Era Maelstrom. And here we go, the passing play. The two defenders, they do have the core flip to try to get it away. So Spooked Altar will save it for just a second and just trying to cut off that passing lane. You cannot let Boykish get the core flip when he's sitting right there in the middle of the net. That is almost unsavable. There's the core flip, trying to throw it up, and Sloopin wins that double strike war, tying it up 1-1. This is a close match.
Yeah, Sloopin is just absolutely dominating the midfield now. They are just completely unable to get it around this Era. I understand that was a power play scenario for the team of Doggo Dogs, but Sloopin is just the absolute wall in the midfield right now, and Tricky is just running out of options, and Spooked Altar and Marissa are just getting danced around, it feels like sometimes. They're really going to have to try and find a way to get around Sloopin's Era, get around the speed, and these giant monumentalist NATOs that are just plaguing them right now.
Yeah, and Boykish in the bread and butter location. You'll see him going up into those top corners because, of course, it takes the rune pillars a little bit of time to expand all the way in. So if you can get the core in there, there's not much you can do as he'll just step on it. And look at the pressure that Maelstrom creates. A beautiful play, just Sloopin going for the mind game, waiting just a little bit. And you can see right now these two forwards on the side of Doggo Dog trying to pass to each other, trying to catch the rune off guard. We'll see a pillar coming up right away, but Tricky dying once again to this Maelstrom. It is large and in charge, and Big Geep is just in the other goal box, shooting it into the goal. Look at this match point right now. Doggo Dog has the opportunity to close this up from what earlier seemed like an impossible game to win.
Yeah, I mean, Tricky just not remembering the events of the movie Twister and deciding to chase these storms and getting absolutely obliterated by the F5 tornadoes. No metal poles to grab onto here, Tricky. As Marissa uses the core flip to try and maintain midfield control, but here comes the F5, and now it's Marissa's turn to just jump in the white truck and get sucked up in the tornado.
Yeah, Tricky trying to save that barrier, but it's not enough. And without Marissa, surely this gate will drop. Doggo Dog needs one more goal if they want to qualify, but look at how much offensive pressure it is. There's Boykish in the one-on-one versus Tricky. You cannot let Boykish core flip here, especially with your cooldowns up right now. Boykish trying to get it so far forward, and this is so scary. The perfect position, shoots it bottom corner, and Doggo Dog will take this match and qualify their way through. GG's to both teams.
Wow, just such a great showing from Doggo Dog there to kind of make that adaptation to the rune, right? Forcing Tricky to kind of taking an interesting approach to against the rune goalie, right? Allowing the anomalies to be formed instead, and just saying, you know what, we're just going to keep the ball on your side of the field until you run out of things to do, and we're just going to get it past you, or we're going to make it like a passing play around the anomaly instead of try and stand on it to deny their existence in the first place. And really showing the prowess of that as well. Able to win just so many crucial strike wars in the midfield as the game continued. And the side of PSI were just unable to find the ability to keep the core away from Tricky long enough for that rune to maintain effectiveness. And one of the, I think honestly, this was the MVP of this game, absolutely, in my opinion, was Sloopin on that era. The Monumental Tornadoes just sniping out so many people unexpectedly. The speed boost, the shrinks with the prime time on two of the faster characters in the game just allows them to maintain that midfield pressure, that midfield advantage that they had. And as you can see in the saves, with 141 saves on the side of PSI as opposed to 86 from the side of Doggo Dog, the pressure on the side of PSI was just immense, and unfortunately unable to hold out long enough to the end.
Yeah, I mean, 100 saves on Tricky alone, which if you watch that first half, or those first two sets rather, I mean, that was pretty obvious. Tricky was a brick wall, but Doggo Dog had to adapt, had to figure out what to do. And, you know, Sloopin speeding up Boykish, allowing him to just shoot that core into the top corner every time and get that first barrier was something we saw them doing the first half. But then later on, the way they were taking that second barrier was not something you saw. And that adaptation is absolutely huge coming out. So congratulations for them. We do have one more match coming up next. We're going to switch off to our next casters, but that is going to be the last qualifier. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Hopefully it's as action-packed as this match. But once again, I am Tech, joined by Lyrica. Lyrica, any last words before we depart?
It's all or nothing!
We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back to Launchpad. I'm here with Josh Gramella, Styles Gaming, Omega Strikers,
Okay,
Indubu
Fudgy.
Strikers, player,
Right.
loser to reverse in 1v1s.
True,
Cast
actually,
Nine.
true.
True. And we're here with the final qualifying match. It's Diamond Inclusive versus Destroyer Mega Noob. It's just really exciting. Destroyer Mega Noob, one of the teams that played in NASA last season. We saw them, I believe, get defeated earlier on stream to reverse beat. So a bit of an upset there, and another one could be on its way if Diamond Inclusive can get this win.
Yeah, this is the Diamond or Platinum exclusive sister team. We know that they won NASA last season, so perhaps Diamond Inclusive's ready to win NASA this season.
Yeah, you sound really excited about
Yeah,
that storyline.
This is gonna be super great. I'm so excited, Fudgy. Are you not excited? I feel like you're not excited.
I'm excited. PLX.
You're
a
being weird,
team.
Fudgy. You're just being weird.
I'm not being weird.
Fudgy, you're just being weird
I'm
again.
not being weird. You can't just say I'm being weird.
This is,
Look
I
at
don't
you
know.
in your dumb room.
My
Look at
dumb
you.
room.
You're in like the bottom right corner. You're not even. Look at you.
Yeah, on the video I'm centered, but on this I'm not. What do I do?
Yeah, just move yourself. I guess. I don't know. You get in there.
Wait, do I do this? Does this make it closer to me? I think this makes it closer to me. Oh,
Oh, that was good.
you,
Yeah. Wow.
you-
You look almost centered now.
Okay,
Good
Fudgy.
job.
That's fine. That's fine. You look
Yeah.
you look almost like you live in a home now.
No. Okay. That's crazy. Okay, we're heading into game. We have Javaro, Zale, Comet 4K as we saw earlier, and it'll be Illyra, Covs, and Calamity Queen 3 on the side of Diamond Inclusive. Covs, someone who used to be on PLX, if I remember correctly, and would play in matches too. So moving to this team to get more, probably secure more of a starting position. I don't know the lore. I don't know the deep roster change lore, but I know PLX would switch their players up a lot, and I know if as a player, I wouldn't want to have to switch out with someone else. I wouldn't want to share
Right.
time. I'd want
Right,
to just be
yeah.
a starter and have my own spot. So hopefully Kops has found that here and is enjoying that.
We're on
And,
night market.
We're on Night Market, which is probably one of the best maps for this team, because Calamity Queen and Kops are both brawler, like at least more known as brawler players. We see
But
Kops
what if-
covering the era, but
Yeah, what if Covs is an era player today, Fudgy? I feel like you haven't considered that.
yes, Cobbs might be an era player today, which won't mean I was hoping we'd see the era goalie double brawler, but Calamity Queen 3 does get the X pick, so going to be locking that in. I'd expect era X is. Hey, you can tell me a little bit about era X. You know anything about this comp, Gramella?
I don't know. I'm a little unfamiliar with the comp myself. We don't play it that often, but I do know that you can buff the X, make him big, make him fast, make him run around and just like beat the crap out of you. Also, the era is just really well suited to this map because it's a lot of just left clicking. Hopefully, it's not Q pressing. And when you do that, you need the speed. You kind of need the size that era provides. It makes strike warring a lot easier. It makes getting through like the really, I don't know, cluttered lanes. It makes getting through that a lot easier. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. This Drakkar Brawler is an interesting pick. It might have a slightly easier time scoring than the X, but it's going to have a much easier time scoring than the X. They take an instant double barrier. Cover4K barely misses the goal. Illyra with two great saves in a row.
Yeah, they're losing the barriers early, but able to make it out in time. Gets to level 2. Waiting for that X level 2 to get those punches online, but it's going to need to punch the core a few more times before being able to punch a few more players. But in the meantime, a bit of a slow start. We still haven't reached overtime. It felt like usually you don't see this type of position this early in the round, but here it is now. The double barrier return, a great NATO is able to take down
Calamity
both.
knows the mission.
And yeah, punching Javaro out of just not giving it a chance. Blocks the Summer Assault as well with their body. And a good team effort there. Cops and Calamity Queen able to bring that back. And I want to look at these starting awakenings.
Primetime Monu. What a set of starting awakenings. Both eras opted for the Monu. It's why the tornadoes are so huge. It's kind of interesting. I actually might have gone Primetime if I was playing the era X comp, just because having more uptime on the X like buffs and enemy debuffs is really important for that team comp. But obviously the Monumentalist paid a lot of dividends for them last point and is paying a lot of dividends for them this point because they got another KO. So just two really, really strong era starts in general. And as you can see, we're just kind of seeing some ping-ponging in the bottom corner. Big Arenado coming in, but Javaro's just going to clear through the top. We're going to be seeing a lot of that today on Night Market especially.
Night Market lore. Night Market lore.
Yeah.
Hit the core back. But I'm actually, the Monu versus Primetime is super interesting. I feel like I see a lot more people finally favoring this Monu a little bit more. I still think, like you said, it's really close, especially when you have an X. But even X doesn't have that much scoring, so like, as like other brawlers, so having that Manu is just like super nice. But look at that!
God.
Okay,
The Iron Spear.
yeah, not
no
into
flip,
the
just wins the
spear.
strike war.
Oh, no flip wins the strike war to get the barrier. Flips afterwards. Is trying to find a goal. His power play is still up, but 3 more seconds on that. Calamity Queen in a 1v1, but the Summer Assault's going to catch. Aguilera is backwards. He's going to be able to clear through once more, and the storm comes in. The magical Maelstrom able to go through and cover that whole area, and that's just half of the goal that's gone because of this one Monumentalist ult that now does more damage. I think new buffs are in.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that was absolute pinpoint. The Monu was not needed at all. It could have had a reverse Monu and the NATO still would have brought it in. That was just like a beautiful dimer into that.
Yeah, it was perfectly timed, but look at that. A flip clear into the dimer. Calamity Queen sees the mission, understands like, okay, if my team has flip, I gotta move up because the core is gonna get down here eventually, so I gotta be ready for it. Gets the second barrier, but Comet 4K with this Drakkar Brawler is able to get not only the barrier, but the goal. It's able to lock and load right through Aguilera and bring it to 2-1.
Yeah, that was some pretty impressive stuff from Comet 4K when they left clicked and then they right clicked.
Yeah. Comet 4K.
But the timing was good. It was a good timing mix-up on the shotgun for sure. I think Goalie Waffles probably would have let that in, and
yeah, it's crazy. Goalie Waffles isn't in this game right now. We have Aguilera, Comet 4K with the power of 4,000 comets. He's able to get both goal barriers and 2 shotguns.
They're going really crazy right now. Something that is kind of punishing Aguilera, but obviously helping them a lot on the offense, is that Aguilera is more than comfortable leaving this gold box. I mean, you're gonna, if you just pay attention to her in the back, you're gonna see like just rotating in and out. But because of the speed zone in the middle, they're able to rotate back and like make the saves. Unfortunate timing, maybe a little bit there, but yeah, the aggression is really coming out. I think that's a point of interest to look at. But going into this next point, there's 2 flips on the side of Destroyer Mega Noob, so they've got a slight advantage.
Yeah, slight advantage, but Calamity Queen's going to build that one up soon, and so is Aguilera. So, questions, honestly, is Comet 4K going to be able to get, or, well, I was going to ask if they can get both barriers in time, but they immediately do. Javero is also extremely low, though. It's going to be able to grab the orb to heal up, but 2 gold barriers is none right now. Flip's going to be used on the strike shotgun. Doesn't want to give that an opportunity to get anything. But the strike with the X Maximus is going to be able to get that last one. But oh my god, Aguilera barely on the edge for gold box is going to be able to get it. But the shotgun, once again, just in a really good position where it's hard to win that. The timing is weird, and you can get stunned if like Drakkar takes one step closer. You're kind of forced to strike, and Comet knows that. Secures the last goal, and is really showing this Drakkar era comp, who I would say are probably like the top 2 midfielders on this map, are kind of working together pretty dang well.
Yeah, I think the opposite of the double brawler. I expected to see Fight or Flight on that first era. I think Super Surge is an interesting pickup. Drakkar is probably going to pick up. Okay, Perfect Form is fine. Dubu might pick up Big Fish. Egoist was the other option there, and then now the X better pick up that Big Fish. Oh yeah, he's a Big Fish.
You don't think you can take Spark? You don't think Spark's takeable?
I do think Spark's takeable, but Big Fish is just really, really good at this map. Just size in general. I mean, look at him, okay? I started watching Attack on Titan recently, and I definitely have been seeing that a little bit.
Yeah, you've been seeing some big fellows.
I've definitely been seeing some X-Lore, okay?
Yeah. Is that what they say in Attack on Titan?
Yeah, they actually do say X-Lore.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Wow, I'll have to...
I mean, no spoilers, but basically they become really big mode and they say X-Lore. It goes kind of hard.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that I haven't watched it. Continue. I'm gonna keep pretending I haven't watched it. I totally know exactly what happens.
Oh,
But that's
Calamity
the second
Queen,
barrier,
beautiful
yeah.
scoring attempt, and they're gonna flip this in. Oh, never mind. Oh, it doesn't matter.
For
Explore.
damage. Flip for damage. Hits all
Yeah.
3, and then gets the KO. Cobbs gets the goal. We didn't even need to punch that. It just had to punch all the players. And sometimes punching the players is better than punching the core. Even flipping. Sometimes I'll flip for damage. If I can get it on all 3, I'm just like, well, that's so much damage. That's got to be good value.
All right, that is a lot of damage. I mean, who needs to hit the core when you flip, really? Oh,
Ooh.
almost a double doinker. And then the Monu NATO, as you were saying earlier, gets Javaro, has to commit the wall. Oh, and the big Atlas heal. Trying to rotate up to the top. And Ilalira, like I said, really, really aggressive, but it will come back to bite them in the butt a few times. Monu NATO, once again, Kov's great clears. Just getting through every single time past Comma 4K. Comma 4K has the flip, trying to make a play with it. Calamity Queen managed to get it through the log. Can they get it up and around? Monu NATO actually betrays them a little bit, but a beautiful angle from Calamity Queen to put it into the top quarter.
Yeah, Kov's just strike warring through both forwards on this side of Destroyer Mega Noob to get that pass through, and Calamity Queen capitalizing instantly in the 1v1. So that was a really great play. Kovs, I was saying, like, oh, this is a brawler player. Are they going to be able to play this midfield role? And the answer is, so far, like, yes, pretty dang well, but whoa! Hey, what I say about flipping for damage, though? What did I...
Oh no!
Night market angle.
Yeah, night market angle, pudgy angle.
That's not. That's what? How is that the most? I didn't even do that one. I didn't even. You can't even.
Oh, Calamity Queen might
right.
pick it up. No, nope. Comet OK is safe in the bottom corner. Oh, Javaro, unwilling to commit the flip. Great play from Calamity Queen. We might be looking at a 3-0 here. Still unwilling to commit the flip from Javaro. A lot of patience, a lot of discipline. Kovs. Can Ilalira rotate around? Nope, still playing to the top side. Com 4K staggered. Oh, stays alive and almost gets the goal. They're really using their invisibility really well. Oh, Calamity Queen striking like a beast.
Oh, good patience. Oh, it's going in too.
Oh,
the strike
Ilalira.
shot. Oh no, I was worried it was going to go in on the first one, but it bounces off, and then once you use your strike shot, your strike's on cooldown, which is a little tough. That's a hard one to predict, but really good angle, really good flip.
Oh,
honestly, that
Queen.
defensive flip from Javaro is really, really good in general.
Yeah,
but
yeah, really well played.
Yeah, one barrier going a piece this time for once, not the instant double barrier from these either team really. We've seen a lot of those come out. Just either the X gets in there or Vicar gets in there. But this time we're playing a little. Goalies are holding it down, but wow. Average debut wall moment kind of leaves a big hole there, and Javaro not able to cover it in time. But
but both
Zale,
are open.
Everything's open, and Comet
4K.
4,000 comets
Okay.
sent forward into the net in the form of shotgun pellets
True.
and
True.
cores.
4,000 shotgun pellets.
Yeah. That's...
Oh, pass. Pass it right now.
Ooh.
All right, Comet. Just it was a ping from the era.
And yeah. Like you said, yeah, Comet.
Okay, Ilalira have to burn the flip.
Oh, and Zale almost wins the strike ward to get the second barrier, but Calamity Queen is doing really good in these 1v1s. The size is helping a lot too. The primaries are going pretty big, pretty huge. That's scary. Yeah, you want to flip there. If Calamity Queen had ult, that's just death with ult flip. But
it gets through the double walk as the shrink.
Yeah, the shrink gets it through, but then Calamity Queen gets too big, and Ilalira
got a little bored.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate clear. Went for something.
Hey, passing up to the X.
Oh, here we go. Has flip though. Has to find an angle. Finds it.
Ooh.
Yeah, gets through. Zale gets through the flip, and that's gonna be a set going 1-1, and that's the win they needed. That's what Diamond Inclusive really needed to stay in this game. It really gives them more time to scale. Era X scales so well, and there's the cast blast. There's the chrono boost, and hey, there's the orb dancer.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if this Orb Dancer is going to get down to this Atlas, but I think Era should probably be taking the Chrono Boost. I think that's her best option. X, for some reason, is getting gas.
Whoa!
All right, everyone in chat, drop your exclamation point goats in the chat right now. Atlas is probably going to be picking up, I don't know, peak performance maybe. Yeah, definitely drop your exclamation point goats for that draft right there. Somehow they get Chrono and Castellas on their first and third pick. Helmet 4K opting, saying I need my best in slot. I don't care if you guys are getting yours. And I'm going to carry this game. That's basically what they're saying. They're going to hope that their missile propulsion is going to be able to get them through. But we see the double barrier from the side of Destroyer Mega Noob going down. Lyra really putting on a lot of offensive pressure. And now
damage.
Yeah, a lot of negotiations with the Dubu wall. Okay, missile prop does not quite get the barrier. Oh, no shotgun ready that time. Kov's readying a tornado, setting it up through the top. Back down. I'm seeing a lot of like over rotations kind of from both sides. Oh, and the KO comes out from Calamity Queen. Lyra getting a little nervous maybe.
The power play is still online. Calamity Queen going to move up. Kov's got the 2v1 now, but the great clear from Javero is going to buy some time. Zill's back online. Comet 4K is going to now bring this offense in with the NATO. The NATOs are going to cross each other, but not going to be able to catch the core either way. But Comet 4K is kind of in front of the net. It gets really scary. The expanse comes out, but it's not enough. But the stun with the X Maximus is going to be enough to get that one through, and the Summer Assault just comes out a little bit too late.
Yeah, Javaro just needed to act, I think, a little sooner there. Sometimes you got to strike first to strike third, you know what I mean? But
that's real. That's extremely real, especially as a Westie. I feel like.
Yeah, true.
it's yeah.
Oh, Javaro wants to fly.
Whoa, fly Javaro! Uses the flip and probably.
Lyra with a great save.
Oh wow, yeah, I was looking at Javero still. I just wanted to see the Dubu fly, but. See the wings
Comet 4K is ready to take the second barrier. Lyra is ready to take the second barrier.
Whoa, the flip misses. Comet 4K.
Flip goes wide. Oh, they get it through with the NATO though.
Oh,
Zale is staggered and Zale's going down. Calamity Queen's on a mission.
Has the flip too. Javero is also getting really low, which is a little bit of a higher priority target, but the barrier is going to get taken with the very fast moving core. Zale just barely able to get this energy up in time to survive over and over again, but Javero's going to barely make it to the side. Oh no, you see the strike, but must have gotten a little bit too anxious and didn't strike after, giving Calamity Queen the second chance at life and gets it through.
Listen, sometimes you gotta strike second. You know what I mean? You gotta listen to these. Calamity Queen instantly goes down.
Yeah, honestly,
moving up.
Yo, big fish though. High-key
true.
Big
He
fish.
died because of it. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to die there with Spark of Agility. That's for sure.
Straight up, that that old. I was more talking about Dubu back then. By the way, we're talking about Dubu taking the Spark. I think would have been interesting over Egoist, but I think it's
Kovs went absolutely nuclear at this point. I just want to point that out. In the power play, Kovs kept complete core control and then ended up taking both barriers solo. An easy strike.
Calamity Queen is striking the core second, a little off.
No, that time it was first. Sometimes you gotta strike first, that they don't strike at all.
So you get strike first to strike third. That's what they say. And I rewarded with the specialized training. Could take the quick strikes too, but it's just, in my opinion, significantly worse, especially with the nerfs in. But
yeah, in my opinion, quick strike is new, but that's okay. They pick up the quick strike anyways. It is really, really strong on this map. Granted, I think this is its best map by far. The heavy impact for Drakkar. This Drakkar really has an awesome build. Unfortunately, he's playing Drakkar, so it doesn't really matter that much. Era picks up the build different. Now gonna be a little bit bigger, and the Dubu has 1-2 punch to help its just clear it out with a lot of speed.
Yeah. I don't say only one Spark had shown up every draft, so could have the Spark could have went hard, okay. But Calamity Queen is gonna have these quick strikes now. Doesn't like it really I feel like this might be the nerf where quick strikes has finally just gone from OP to really, really good. I think we've made it. That's my take so far. Patch just came out recently, moving that one down, I believe, from 20% to 15% reduction. But the NATO doing a ton of damage, but Javero able to get that clear this time. But Calamity Queen beat a menace, but it does not matter. Javero's holding, knows all of the tricks, knows Calamity Queen's just going to stand there and keep striking. So just keep using cooldowns until you're out. But this time the stun will be enough to let the core get through, and Javero's going to get KO'd as well. And Era going to knock that one in for a 1-0. Oh,
Dubu, man, Dubu. It's really going through it. I do think Era X is one of Dubu's worst matchups by far. So this is just In my opinion, I think the team comps are really, really well suited for Diamond Inclusive and significantly less so for Destroyer Mega Noob. Which is, why we're on the path to an upset. We are absolutely blazing our way there.
We are 1 point away from one team qualifying, Diamond Inclusive making their way to liftoff, and Destroyer Mega Noob just being cut out from the entire rest of the season. Have no chance to make it into NASA and NASL with this team of 3. So if they want to stay and keep playing for this season 3 of NASL and NASA, then they gotta get something going right now, and they have no time. But the Era and X have scaled so hard. The flip is coming out. The Bull Rush coming through isn't going to be enough. The stagger, though, will be very dangerous. Comet 4K has no energy to evade. And also, we see Zale getting low as well and has no energy either.
Ialira.
Yeah, Ialira is going to fly. He's going to be able to take that last
gonna flip it in.
Has to flip. It's going to flip it in. That's open goal. Ialira flips it in. And that's Diamond Inclusive going to be your next and final liftoff team.
Yeah, that's a pretty big upset. Seed 11 over Seed 2. Well played the Destroyer Mega Noob. They put up a fight today, but I mean, I said it earlier. Diamond Inclusive are on a warpath to this NASA title, and this was just the first step in that long journey.
Yeah, they actually had to play. I mean, they had a long road because they were seeded 11th, so they had to play a lot of good teams to get here. They had to play Omega Legends, which was technically another NASA team. So they had to go through 2 ex-NASA teams in order just to qualify for liftoff. But they'll have to play more teams to even qualify for NASA, but really impressive that they were able to make this run. They played some other good teams, second win.
Yeah, they went on a crazy run today, actually. They lost in winners round 2. So they lost on the first start.gg page, and then won out from there to go all the way to liftoff. Really, really great run, a lot of endurance for them, but Ialira gonna be real happy with the celebration stream today. Yeah, big props to them.
Yeah, Ialira gonna be really happy. Glad to see that. Has been one of the more consistent streamers of Omega Strikers, so glad to see more wins there. It's kind of, hey, you got PLX, you got Zay Forever PLX, you got Ialira, Diamond Inclusive, the 2 greats of twitch.tv/Omega Strikers. And also might be some Teamfight Manager today.
There might be some. I've heard whispers. I've heard some whispers of Teamfight Manager today. If you wanna look around at like 10 p.m. today, there might be.
10 p.m. We're going. That's when we're starting. At 10 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, 10 p.m. Pacific. There's some rumors going around of a Teamfight Manager stream that might be floating around in the Omega Strikers category later today. But yeah. Congratulations, Diamond Inclusive, qualifying for liftoff. That's in what, 2 weeks? I think 3 weeks. How far away is liftoff?
Yeah, when I'll check.
Cool.
'Cause this is important.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
And then the Sunday after is the landing. That's where I got confused. So yeah, the weekend in 2 weeks. You have a week off. Yeah. What fudgy? What fudgy? What do you want?
I forgot the landing was a really important day for you. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
We're
gonna
want to make sure that you're doing okay.
I mean,
are you excited to be playing against Diamond Inclusive in landing?
Yeah, we'd probably. I don't know if we'd pick them. It looked pretty strong in that last match.
That's what I'm saying.
And we'd have to force them to play against PLX too. So could we really do that to them? But yeah, that'll be it from us for today. Good stuff from the teams. Quickly, LP Thieves, RDJ, Reverse Beat, Kachow, Doggo Dog, and Diamond Inclusive making it on to liftoff, which we'll see in 2 weeks. So make sure to stay tuned for that, because that tournament's crazy too. That's like those are so fun to watch. Is these teams battling it out for everything, really, once again. So
yeah,
thanks for watching.
Drop your primes.
Yeah, drop your primes. Shut up. Shut up.
And we'll see you in a couple weeks.